My check, my check. Hey, hey, chills. What's up, man? In nice and early. It's chills. It's freezing, isn't it? I'm freezing my fucking nuts off, mate. Damn. I woke up. It's foggy out there. Uh, Freezing cold. I ain't going nowhere, man. Although I've got to go. I've got to go out about 12 today. Unfortunately, well, it's only going to be like a 3-hour stream today, guys. Oh yeah, I've got stuff to do. Family are down, you know. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing them actually. Hey, Forever, how you doing? Welcome in, Forever, love. Pretty cool, man. So yeah, we got Globe Clown of the Week on the thumbnail. It's a new thing we're going to be doing every week. Going to call out the biggest clown in Globe in the Globe arena, which is now Matt the Twat. I think he's from these ends somewhere, southeast. He looks like a southeastie and he speaks like one. He's got the brain cells of a fucking amoeba. That's what he's, you know, two peas. Two peas as a brain cell. You shake Matt, he sounds like a rattle. A baby's rattle. That's his little pea brain game. Because he can't work nothing out for himself, can he, Matt? Matt the Twat. What tard can't work out nothing for himself. He's got to ask perverts like Jaren and McToon. See, perverts hang around with perverts. This is a fact. This is what happens. That's why Wattard, he gives off these noncy vibes anyway. Really does give them off. He's like the English version of McToon. He really is. He gives off those weird. You wouldn't let him babysit for you, would you, Wattard? Never in a million. Never in a. So yeah, you perverts attract perverts, and that's how it happens. So he can't work nothing out for himself, and he's so dim and stupid in his thinking that he's got to ask people like Jaren and McToon. Jared and McToon. Fancy asking them two clowns for answers. I mean, that just shows you how brain dead he is. You know, Wattard is completely brain dead. You're a Mong, Wattard. You wouldn't last 5 minutes in my circles. Now, go away now. Go away now. Hey, Dr. B, what's up, man? What's up? I'm going to bed, but I'll be listening. Dr. B's off to bed. He's Yeah, it's pretty early. I think early in the morning for you guys, isn't it? Like 3 or 4 in the morning. Do you know what, Dr. B? I'd already be crashed out by now, mate. Oh, Chills is driving. Chills is driving. Yeah, I'd be crashed out by now, mate. But I'm still having those weird sleeps where I'm not getting like a full sleep. It's like, I don't know. It's like I'm awake in my sleep. It's like I'm not getting into REM sleep, like that deep. Do you know that deep sleep? I'm just not getting there. It's just so bizarre at the moment. I don't know if it's these things at the back, these towers, or you know, we are in a frequency soup, aren't we? So could be something to do with that. But yeah, it's strange. I just can't. Oh, it's 1 a.m. where Dr. B is. Damn. Yeah, that's bloody. Yeah, I'll still be gone by then, Dr. B. My head starts hitting the pillow about 12 at night. Because what happens, the old eyes start going and rolling, and next minute, you know, I'm waking up at 3 in the morning. The TV's still on, and the internet's still on, and you know, switch it all off. Blue lights on the computer flashing. Maybe it's got something to do with that blue light. Might have something to do with that blue light on this PC actually. Well, I'm not, because they say there's been saying stuff about blue lights, right? And it's not good for you when you must be in the air, though. Something is forever. I can't work it out. Something's kind of keeping me awake at night, and it's been happening for quite a while actually. I think about it. Yeah, I haven't had been into like a REM sleep for quite a while now, actually. Like, guys, I haven't even started the show yet. As I say, guys, it's only going to be going on till 12 today. I've got a lot to do later, family and stuff, so which is cool. I ain't seen him for a while. Hearing young and old are saying that they're sleeping weird. Yeah. Something shifty, they're saying. It's bizarre. I used to sleep like a log. Honestly, I used to be out for the count. You could never get me up. You know, I remember my dad shaking me to get me up for work. He'd come in, wake me up, then come up like, and I'll still be asleep. I would have fallen back to sleep, and he's like, "Get up, you've got to go to work." Yeah, so I was like, yeah, out for the count kind of sleeper, right? But yeah, these days I'm like, I'm up 2 or 3 times during the night. It's like, what is going on? I'll tell you, Rogers yesterday, they were having quite an interesting conversation about tides and what's causing the tides. Like, I don't believe the moon's got anything to do. I know a lot of you guys think it is. The moon has got something, because it is. Remember, the moon is a lot smaller and local. It's a lot nearer than what they say. Could it be? I'm not convinced, to be honest with you. I'd really think if you look at tides on a time lapse and you see it flow in or ebb in and flow out, it looks like identical to an ebb and flow system, where the water just comes up, goes back down, comes up, ebbs in, flows out, ebbs in, or flows in, ebbs out, whatever way. And that's what it looks like on a time lapse. Now, what are the mechanics of that? I don't know. Maybe I think it's got something to do with heat and pressure. That's what I think it's something to do with underground, maybe, below our feet. Think of it like a thermometer, right? You heat it up, the level goes up. When it gets cool, it comes back down again. So maybe it's something like that. That's kind of the mechanics of it. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's got anything to do with the moon. That's just my personal opinion on it. I don't. But, we've got tidal nodes. Each one of these nodes is an ebb and flow system, right? Each node. That's what I believe. That's what I believe is happening somehow. But how do you prove that? And Lev asked a good question. He said, yeah, but how do you prove that? I don't know. Maybe we need some sort of technology, that can penetrate the waters below. Because at the moment, when submersibles try and go through that, they bounce off of it. So you need some sort of dense, heavy, sort of, I don't know, mechanical object that can pierce through that and keep going. Maybe you get your answers there, because we do have deep sea vents, right? So we know that there's heat there, we know that there's pressure there, right at the bottom of the ocean. Now, is that what's happening? Is it some sort of ebb and flow system? I mean, we've got so many tidal nodes around. It just makes sense to me. It just kind of resonates. Yeah, it was actually quite a good little chat they were having. Interesting, man. All right, let's carry on. Hey, what's up? Cheers, Toronto Trash. Is that Thrash? Toronto Thrash, welcome in. Laura, welcome in. Great to see you. Charlie, welcome in. How is everybody? Hope you're doing well. It's freezing here in the UK. Yes, it is. It's freezing.
Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. Didn't they teach you to reach for the
So congratulations to What Kast, Matt the Twat. He's the first winner of Globe Tard of the Week. Congratulations. You are the first winner. because you can't think for yourself. You're an absolute imbecile, and you go to people like Jeronism the pervert, Mactoon the weirdo, abusive kids, and you're going to these guys for answers. It just shows me how weak you are, bro. You are one weak, pathetic Englishman. What Tard, what Kast, Matt the Twat. That's that. As I say, I think he's from down my sides, these ends somewhere. But he's just a little mong, isn't he? Go and watch him. He looks like a scared little rabbit. His expression is like, you can see the fear. You can see the fear in him, man. These people, I don't vibe with. I want to push all this nonsense on you. He doesn't understand a single thing he's talking about. He's weak. He shouldn't be in the flat Earth arena. He shouldn't be in it. Why is he talking about it? Because he's a clown. He's got nothing else to talk about. Have you? What's hard? Matt the Twat, who goes to nonces and perverts for his answers, which is crazy. He's not even asking any questions. What a retard.
While opening up the bars and keeping you chained down with mortgage bills and cars, vaccines for your arms, kids sounding like supercharged, caffeinated hate-filled scars and rage-quit repertoires, no answers for yards, caught up in emotion.
Hey, what's up, Liv? How you doing, Liv? Yeah, I don't know if you caught it. I was talking about the Empire thing literally 2 minutes ago. I don't know, just probably before you come in. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting chat you guys were having, actually. I quite enjoyed that. Chez wants to know who is Matt the Twat. He's some other English twat that's he's joined up with the forces, with the dark forces. He's joined up with the dark forces, perverts and nonces and abusive men. He's joined that little clan there, Chez. So he's got to be called out, man. He's got to be called out. He can't think for himself. He's asking weirdos and perverts for his answers. He hasn't got any questions in the first place. He keeps going in on flat earthers and stuff like this. He doesn't know any of them. He's just just got to call him out and just call him a twat, because that's what he is. Anyone that's going to these clowns for answers, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot, Matt the Twat. So he's the winner. He's the first winner of Globe Clown of the Week. Is Matt the Twat from the UK. How you doing, Matt?
It's like impeccable retards lined up for your serving of gish galloping wars. No remedy can save the lost, in love with the yarn. I'm tired of walking.
Yeah. He's the one that did the interview with Jeron and who was it? I think it was just with Jeron. I think him and Jeron did a one. But he's an English dude. He looks scared shitless all the time. He's got a face like a deer in the headlights, just staring and looking and observing like some sort of weirdo in the background. That's the vibes I get off this dude. His whole body looks like it's full of fear. It's just because he does. That's what he does. He fears. He's got a bunch of fear inside him, and all he can do is take it out on flat earthers. Ain't gonna work, Matt the Twat. It's not gonna work, because now you're a thumb now. Thank you. You're probably gonna win Clown Show of the Week, Globe Clown of the Week at least 3 or 4 times. You're probably gonna win it. I can see it. I can see that. I'm gonna project it into the future.
Poor science displayed by disgusting bards, soaked in sin with your dupe is the
Hey, Logical, what's up? What's up?
Been so long, seems like for love I'm just too hard. That's it.
Hey, Jem, welcome in. Welcome in. Is it Christmas? Play that Run DMC Christmas song. What? Run DMC Christmas song? Canada. Is that Canada? Toronto. Run DMC Christmas song. What one? What? I'm tricky. I'm tricky. Tricky.
Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. In Intoxicated hate makes you believe you're spinning in space, why you have no shame or grace. It's a disdainful state I used to contemplate how to save my.
Yeah, it's right. It's right. They all mould themselves the same, didn't they? All these globetards, even Jaren's turned into it. It's just a weirdness about them, right? Once you've seen one of them, you've seen them all because they're all basically identical. As I said, listen, perverts hang around with perverts. Like, you know, it's literally a gang of them. Matt Wattard from the UK, he's become one of them, which is crazy. You know, this guy can't see through this. He can't see who these characters are. No, he just wants to join them, be pals and buddies with them, and get up to all sorts of nefarious shit online, right? That's what Matt the Twat. That's what he wants to do. He wants to join OnlyFans with Jaren, you know, knocking one out over CMG and his music. Why he's on the screen? This is crazy, and gets caught for it. And at the same time, sending dick pics to young impressionable women. That's what Jaren's been doing. Well, that, you know, this is not a behaviour of a flat earther. This is a behaviour of a globetard, and that's right. That's why he left. We don't get up to none of this nefarious shit. They do. And they've been caught for it. Abuse, you know, McToon abusing little ones. Matt Wattard, what other, you know, evidence do you need? What other truths do you want? Because I don't talk bullshit. I just tell the truth as it is. And that is the truth. Go and ask anyone about McToon and the kids in the basement. You know, whatever he was doing down there, but it wasn't good. Was it, McToon? Wasn't good. Abuser. And then you got Jaren and these dick pics and jerking off to CMG. That's crazy. Jerking off to CMG music and getting caught for it. That's that's crazy work, man. That's next level. That's next level. But what I'm trying to get to is, like, you got all these perverts like in one group now, and you got Wattard. He wants to join in them. He wants to join in with them, which makes him really, really nasty, man. Nasty piece of work. As I say, he's got to look like a scared rabbit. Honestly, he's just looking at the screen like this.
Wonder why I was even
let's crack on.
Fate, forced to try and awake with a full plate. No one to.
Hey, Jax, welcome in. Welcome in.
I had to liberate and fight through hidden gates, but my brother, heaven could never be late, and rockets don't work in space. It's all fake. The show is on Mars. It's a joke, but you're too far gone. It won't be long. Fepe's beak is strong. We have our song and we march along. Like
hey, Suits, welcome in, welcome in. Guys, it's only going to be going on to 12 o'clock today. I've got a busy day on, so I can only go to say we've only got 3 hours basically. Yeah, maybe a couple of hours of that's quite good videos though. Actually, it might be the same for Saturday. In fact, Saturday I might be able to go on a little bit longer. Let's have a look. Got down here. We've got the world's weirdest weed. It's albino weed, literally white weed. What? Another one there. We've got a couple of gyms on there. We've got a Jake GTV. We've got one for Ches in there. We've got Jamie's. We got this is getting out of control. That's for Ches only. Yeah, got some good stuff on there. JJ on their documentary. Oh, I wanted to show you that Bart Sabrell. He's talking to the NASA Apollo dude, man. They were literally having a debate face to face. I don't know if you've seen it. We'll watch a bit of it anyway. We'll see how much we can get through. Yeah, so I might be. Yeah, we'll do that in about 10 minutes, then, guys.
Turns mankind from the wrong.
We've only got basically 2.5 hours.
And all of us wearing our holy crowns. Said the earth is flat, and we probably just won't get along. Just to go along, I said, welcome to the show, where you don't know if it's part of the show.
Yeah, what's happened? That's kind of faded away, isn't it? Since Duffy's been called out on his financial allegations and everything, and yeah, what's happened to the hit piece, guys? You globetards, what's happened to it? We've been waiting for this for months now. It was meant to come out months ago. This hit piece, wasn't it? The TFE hit, and it hasn't happened. I wonder why. I wonder why. Is it because it just lost steam? Is that really what happened? No one really gives a shit. And you've realised that. You guys have realised that. No one cares. Because you're trying to tell people about their own experience. You're trying to change people's reality, which is happening right now. You're trying to tell them it's something that it isn't, and you can't get away with it. You can't get away with it. People experience it as it is, and we don't need a bunch of perverted weirdos telling us no. It's actually where you see those 2 points converging. That's where curvature begins. Oh, really? That's not my eyes doing that. It's not my actual optics. Not my optics converging everything to that point. Okay, so if that's the curvature, what's the distance to that curvature there? Oh, it's about 3 to 5 miles. Oh, okay. So why can't I see curvature going from the centre to the left, centre to the right? What's that distance? That's got to be 12 miles, yeah? Left to right. Interesting. Okay. So you're telling me where it converges, that's where curvature begins. We're living on a tiny little ball, aren't we? We're living on one of those tiny little balls. None of it makes sense, guys. None of it makes any sense. And this is what I mean. Once we get down to this substance, it's finished for them. They know it. Once we get down to the physics of water, they can't touch it. We can't touch it because they're trying to convince you that it does something that it can't do when it's right in front of you. It's right there. And they're trying to convince you it does something and it doesn't. See, you can just fill up a bowl of water, hand that to a globetard and go, well, show me. I'm showing you, I've got my water's contained, it's doing what it's meant to do, the physics of water's working quite perfectly in this bowl. Now show me. You show me your claims of water sticking to the exterior of objects. Now just show me once. No. Tumbleweeds. Every single time, tumbleweeds. And they can't handle it. So that's why they've upped it. That's why they've tried to crush it. Because when it comes down to it, the physics of water completely destroys any helio model, globes, all of it. It's gone. You just need to understand it. That's all. And fortunately, we've got a bunch of good people in the chat that do understand this. In fact, all flat earthers understand this. And even you could even ask, like, Eric DeBay and all these guys, the number one proof. And I've been saying this from day dot. The key to all this is this stuff. Nothing else, not maths, not observations in the sky, not maths and, numbers and sounds and nothing tangible written on bits of paper and that's their proof. No. This stuff is right in front of you. We've got them by the balls, guys, every single time.
Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know.
Oh, it was a James one. It was a James. Yeah, you might have seen it anyway. It's getting out of control. That'll be getting played in about what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, about 20 minutes. Say 25 minutes or so. I'm going to start playing these videos at past. Ches, 6 minutes and start playing these videos, and it's like the 8th one down or something. But as I always go by time, so the shortest one's always first. So it shouldn't take that long. So would you listen to somebody like Jaren telling you what reality is? That's insane, right? You've got to be a complete plonker. You've got to be insane, an actual retard, to listen to anybody like Jaren or McToon, Simon Tran, McKeegtard, all these weirdos, man. They're just freaks of nature, and they shouldn't be in an arena trying to pollute it with all their nonsense, because that's all they're doing. They're just polluting it. We need to get these clowns out of this. No one wants to be conversing with you. No real flat earther wants to be talking to a bunch of perverts. So anyone that does talk to you guys, they're going to get called out instantly now. You do realise that, don't you? It's gone way too far now. That's why they're fishing. That's, you know, all these OP Globers, they're fishing at the moment, and because they can't get any real flat earthers on there, they've got to start scraping the bottom of the barrel, TikTok and all this, and coming up with these flat earthers that no one's ever heard of. No one's ever heard of these guys. You're like, who the fuck's this guy? Who is? Oh, I see what they're doing. All the proper flat earthers are telling you to fuck off. Or give me 2,000. Give me 2k or 2 to 3k, then I come onto your thing and debate you. But if you haven't got 2 or 3k, you can do one, bro. I mean, the clown. Who was the clown on Sobs the other night? Did anyone see that dude? He was Welsh. These Welsh dudes, man, they're weird. You got Creepy Blinder over here, catching kids with his net and cage in the hills of Wales. I don't know what he's up to. Now you got this other dude that was on Sovs the other night. He's just as bad. They're definitely mates. They're definitely connected, these two. You know, especially when you hear bah halfway through the sentence. So they're yeah, these. I mean, who was this guy that was on sort of hilarious, man? Again, just a retard regurgitating nonsense that he was taught at school and never thought to investigate and look into it for himself and think, maybe this ain't right, and come to his own conclusions. No, he just regurgitates, just like Matt the Twat, just like Jaren, just like McToon and all these clowns. They do exactly the same shit every single time. That's why the flat earthers out there have disowned them. Do one. We don't need you. You need us more than we need you. You need us for content. We don't need you for content. That's the difference here, guys. So what happens then? They huddle up in their little perverted little gang, right? This is what they huddle up together, and you know they circle jerk in their little clique and let them get on and do that. Just as long as they're not infecting any flat earthers' minds with their poison, yeah. You guys can crack on over there in your own little corner. Go on. But, you know, they will try and infiltrate, which is what these clowns do. They infiltrate.
Of the earth spinning round with the buildings upside down.
Hey, Amanda, how you doing? I hope you're well, Amanda.
Buildings upside down.
Hope you're having a nice festive season. All that good stuff, Amanda.
Zooming on the people walking round. The people walking round upside down. Got a balloon. I got a
Hey, Graham. Welcome in. Logical. Oh, yeah, I've said hello to Logical. How are you keeping, Amanda? How are you keeping? I hope you're doing well. It's freezing, isn't it? I bet it's freezing in the Isle of Wight now, isn't it? Freezing down. I know it could be slightly warmer actually. It's freezing. Essex is just like it's grey, overcast. There's like a slight fog in the air. It's freezing cold, damp, grey and dreary. That's what that's what it's like for me. So.
looks the same through the lens of my senses. At peace upon a plane.
It's so cold, they've changed the name to the Isle of Shite. Roger that got a wrench. Mikey has definitely lost the plot. Who is Roger that? Can someone tell me who Roger that is? Hey Terry, what's up? Who's Jim? Welcome in. Who's Roger that? Well, you know, it's pretty obvious. Mikey Smith ain't the full ticket, man. I keep telling you, he's not the full ticket. He's a couple of slices short of a loaf, right? That's what he's like peas without the rice. He's like curry without the spice. He's like he's like energy without life. You know, just make him rhyme. Just make him rhyme.
Earth is the place. The moon makes light so cool at night. The luminaries, they all rotate around you. From the point of truth,
Do I want to watch that? Not really. Yeah, I'll watch it. Terror. I'll watch it in my own time, man. I don't want to put everyone else through Mikey Smith's insanity. So, you know, I'll watch it in my own time later on, dude.
where is the curvature?
Roger made fun of dead baby girls against what? Yeah, that's pretty sick, man. I mean, I've had trouble with Vicky, but I just called her out for her bullshit and her lies, right? Exposed her. I wouldn't go and start doing all that sort of nonsense. That's wrong, man. You shouldn't be really. I mean, that's what I mean. There is a line, like an online line, that you shouldn't be really crossing. You know, and that's family and people's children and all this sort of stuff. You shouldn't really be going there. I don't go there. Yeah, I will take something true about someone and just make it sound completely ridiculous. Really go over the top. That's kind of what I, you know. But there's always a bit of truth in there. But I wouldn't go out and start attacking someone's dead baby. That's sick. That's really sick-minded, man. No, people like that they're definitely got some sort of mental illness. I think personally, that's kind of crazy. In fact, do you know what, Terror? A lot of people from here used to go into flatsies until Vicky started banning them all. And now they're all banned. Flat says they're not, but the people in my chat say that they are still. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, you know, they're all kind of biblical flat earthers, aren't they? So, hey, take care forever. Have a good one. Hope you have a great day forever. Yeah, same here, Ches. I'm not really into the biblical stuff, to be honest with you. As I say, I don't need a book to run my life. I really don't. I don't need to follow someone to know what's right and wrong. You're already born with it. You should know already by now. And if you're in your 50s and you don't know what's right or wrong, you're a fucking idiot. If you need some book to keep reminding you how to act and treat other people, you're an idiot. I know it's the followings of Jesus and all this, and no, it just doesn't vibe with me. I'm more of like a, I don't know what it is. Nature, or just nature itself and life, and that's kind of God for me, right? Everything that you see that isn't man-made, that's just part of the system, the system that goes on forever and ever, the eternal system. That's where we reside. That is infinite. That's infinite. Everything comes in, right? You're born, you come in, die, and you leave. Every living thing does this. The only thing that stays, the system, is this realm. That's the only thing, and that's the only thing that's infinite. Think about it. If everything else is coming in and going, and that's the only thing that's there, it's kind of thinking about stuff. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? Banner, when you show them clips, this is from Suits, when you show them a clip or clips of Jewish rabbis telling you straight that the Bible, Quran, and most of these biblical texts were made up by Jews. Jews invented all this. It makes Christians and Muslims pissed. It pisses them off because they don't like to think that their whole religion was made up by somebody else. My friend seen a guy in a XXX dating newspaper in the 90s who looked like another friend of ours. Imagine naked Elvis wearing a Lone Ranger mask. The guy swore it was him. Yeah, he must have recognised the pimple on his arse. Right, Flat's channel still going. We know for. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Jay. Welcome in. How you doing, man? I mean, a lot of people for me used to go into flats. And that's why I went in there. I went in there because I don't want to be just me in there. If everyone else went in there like we used to when flats was doing flat Earth, yeah. But I'm not really into the other stuff that Flats does. It's completely up to Flats what he does. I'm not saying you've got to do. No. I'm not completely up to him what he does. But it's just not my thing. That's all. It's just not my thing. And it's probably not a lot of people's things. Because look, listen. When this first began, and everyone in the chat, I tell you, we've all been here from probably the beginning. Or a lot of people in the chat have as well. Been here from the early times, and let me tell you this: when it first come 2014-15, there was no biblical flat earthers, not a single one. The only one that come along was Poncho. He was the first one, and everyone thought that was weird. But Poncho didn't really put it out there. He used to say baby Jesus and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, there was no biblical flat earthers, zero. We just come to this on our own conclusions. We don't need a book to keep reiterating and telling us, what it is. No, we work this out for ourselves. We don't need books and stuff. We can, your experience tells you all the truths that you need to know. Your own experience, your own reality tells you exactly what this place is. And when you give that power away and you listen to someone else telling you what it is, well, that's when you're going to start having problems in your psyche. That's when you're going to start having serious problems. And the older you get, the more that problem in your psyche just takes a grip. It just takes a grip. And then you suddenly can't see outside of that schism, let's say. Because it's like a schism, right? I thought you was going to get all like, in the beginning. But you know what I mean, Suits. You know, all of us has been around for quite a while, right? There was no biblical flat earthers in this. Zero. Let's just be real about it. Ask anyone. Ask all the flat earthers. Who's on the naughty list this? Well, the naughty list is going out to Globe Tard of the Week goes out to Matt the Twat. What Kast? What Tard? That's his new name. Matt the Twat. What Kast? What Tard? That's his. He's an imbecile, obviously a pervert that's joined up with the other perverts to try and diss and, you know, say bad things about flat earthers and flat earth. So I just thought I'd give them a bit of their own medicine. So yeah, he will be probably winning this for a long time. He'll probably be in the number one for at least a month. Flat Earth on YouTube has been infiltrated, hijacked, co-opted, and turned into an absolute shit. Yes, absolutely spot on, Ches. We've all seen this, and it's been infiltrated for sure. Come on, guys. Look at all the army people in this, Navy people, Mossad, CIA. Don't you think there's something up with this? It's definitely been infiltrated. And I would say 90-something% of all the flat earth channels have been infiltrated by some sort of Mossad, CIA, MI5, MI6, some weird Navy or Army or... It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. It really is. When you start seeing it, you start like, hang on. CIA, Mossad, Navy, Army... What's going on here? What's really going on? So yeah, you need to keep like just keep vigilant, guys. Keep vigilant about it because you know it's happening. It's happening. Why would it not be infiltrated? Yeah, yeah. Mate, we've been seeing this sort of creep in though, Ches, haven't we, for quite a while? We've been seeing this intelligence of army and CIA, Mossad, and all sort of creeping in and creeping in. And I'm the only one that really calls this out. No one else really calls this out, And you should be, not worried, but as I say, vigilant about it. You've got Sam Mossad. Prime example. You've got Vlad, ex-Navy. You've got Fight the Flat Earth, ex-Army, I think. You've got Simon Tran, ex-Army. You've got Andrew B, CIA or ex-CIA or some sort of intelligence. What's going on, man? You can't tell me I'm the only one that sees this. There must be, everyone else must be seeing this as well, right? But everyone just wants to, oh, don't worry about it. Head up in the clouds. Got your head up in the clouds. Don't worry about it. They're all loving people and they all want to talk. Now, they just want to infiltrate and destroy it. That's what they really want to do. But all you clowns are just like, yeah, let's talk. Let's build bridges and have a chat and have a cup of tea and a spliff. No. Get your sorry ass out of it. Can you show this later, please? I thought we'll take a quick look. And that Tarmo, they didn't. Tarmo, come on, man. Infiltrate, more like creative. Tarmo, they haven't got the brains to create this. They haven't got the thinking to think that the flat Earth is actually real. They haven't got that. They can't. They didn't invent it. This has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. How could someone in 2015 come up with something that's been around for over 100 years? Where's the curve at? Follow the yellow brick road. Oh, yeah, okay, we watch it. Okay, I see what you've done there. Nice. Literally covered up a building with bricks. Look at that. Look how much nicer, though, the architecture is behind that. But for some reason, they just want us to look at red fucking southern brick that's just falling to bits. And behind it is actually, look at this. Oh, is that real? Is that just been put over the... Is this actually real, though? We'll look into that a bit later, guys. Let's just... Hey, Sketchies, what's up? What's up? Right, where are we at? Oh, let's play Jim. Let's play Jim. I think Jim's used Alan Watts in this. Slightly, the tempo's slightly. That's Jim in the chat. I think it is Alan Watts. What he's used it. Sounds familiar. It sounds like he's pitched it down a bit.
When you realize that the hostility directed toward you has very little to do with your actions and far more to do with the unseen depths within others.
Yo, Sketchies, what's up? What's up, man?
You wonder why a friend suddenly grows distant, why a colleague begins to undermine you, why someone who once praised you now resents your presence. At first glance, you might believe it is your fault, that you made a mistake, that you misstepped somewhere along the way. But often, the truth is far more complex, far more hidden. It is not your actions they are reacting to. It is the shadow within themselves that they have never dared to confront.
Yeah, because they did. You know, that's actually really good. They did lose control of the information flow. This was back in 2014, 15 and 16, I would say. For those 3 years, it was insane. The most searched topic was flat Earth. They couldn't control it. That's why you had the algorithm come in, because it was the most searched topic. You got to listen to this, right? So they brought in the algorithm. Right, before the algorithm, you could type in flat Earth and you would get a plethora, just tons of really great flat Earth information, loads of it, just pages and pages of it. And then the algorithm come in, and now all you've got is people like McToon, McKeegan, Simon Tran, Jeranism, Spasm, or whatever his fucking name is. So you got these clowns just come up. And that's what they wanted. And if you go back, and I think it was in a Senate meeting or something, some woman, I've showed you the video loads of times, saying like, yeah, basically, flat Earth is going to be put to the back of the bus. That you won't be able to find it in a search. And that's what they did. They got the control back. They got their control back. And Ches is right. It's like you're going to find it very difficult now to find a genuine truth of flat Earther. Because they're, you know, most of them are tainted. But that's actually completely true what Ches says there. They lost control of it, and they could only get it back through the algorithm. The control. And they did, and they did. That's exactly what they did.
Carries within them a shadow, the repository of rejected traits, disowned desires, buried shame, and unacknowledged fears. These are the
guys, I'm only going on till 12 today. Got family down and stuff, so yeah, pretty busy day. Might be the same on Saturday as well. But I will be going live. It will be a live show, just not as many hours. That's all.
The self that people cannot bear to face. Instead of integrating them, they push them down into the unconscious. Yet the shadow never disappears. It lingers, waiting, heavy and silent, until the right trigger calls it forth. And that trigger, more often than not, is another person. You may become the embodiment of what someone has denied,
Oh, that's cool. That's good sketch.
Perhaps
That's
your
great stuff,
competence
man.
highlights
Just as long as you're well, man.
Insecurity. They
A
can
flat Earth in the early days was great. I'd be embarrassed to be associated with YouTube Flat Earth. Present company excluded, of course. Yeah, cheers, cheers. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same, man.
themselves into. When this
I've
happens,
even contemplated over, you know, the last sort of 6 months whether to even carry on. I've been like, it's getting weird, man. But no, the message is too important. It really is, really is. I know it's still the number one thing, still the top of the pile when it comes to, you know. I don't think it is conspiracy. I see it as just fact. You know, physics of water, just prove it, just prove everything about it. So it's not a conspiracy to me. And you know, when you get to that kind of, you know, you start thinking, and this still has to be talked about. It still has to be put out there because they're doing, the powers to be are doing everything in their power to not get this out. And they've been successful. They really have. Since the algorithm come in, and it's turned into a shit show. It really has. And do you really want to be part of that? And you know, that's why I back off from a lot of channels. I go in there, you know, and then you suddenly start seeing things, and you're like, you're falling into those same traps, man. You know, you should listen to some of the people who've been here for a long time, man, because we've seen it happen, like, you know, a few times now.
Hatred, envy, and resentment are often nothing.
And the people that, you know, when you see Flat Earth channels and true channels that are monetized, and you know, they're only about the money. They really are. Truth becomes secondary. It's all about the money, and you know, you start talking shit just to get the money in. You know, talking to idiots just to get your money in, and that's the way I kind of see it going. It's not. I don't vibe with that at all.
More than projections of the unclaimed parts of themselves. This is why.
Hey, Marcel, welcome in, man.
Without you,
How you doing, Marcel? Hey, Fiona, welcome in.
because of your actions,
Long time, Fiona. Hope you're well.
your existence unsettles.
Hope everyone's good.
You
Word of
become
mouth, yeah, word of mouth
who they
is
are,
important.
and that reflection is unbearable. Instead of facing their own darkness, they attempt to destroy the mirror. They speak against you, sabotage you, or distance themselves from you, believing that by removing you, they can remove the shadow. But the shadow follows them everywhere, whispering, waiting.
All right, cool. Let's see what videos. Let's play Jason's first. Hello, Brick Road.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the yellow brick road and some Roman styled bricks and some interesting places where they show up. So should be interesting. Let's get into it now. I was just looking into this concept of these yellow brick roads and what happened to all the yellow brick roads, and I just came across this story how the inspiration behind the yellow brick road from the Wizard of Oz may actually have come from this literal yellow brick road in, I believe it's Peekskill, New York of all places, and it's this Dutch bricked yellow brick road which still exists, but that is the speculation. So I was just going down this path and I came across some posts talking about yellow brick roads uncovered during road work. This was in Cincinnati.
Come on, man. You can't look. Then you can't expect me to believe this image is real. I mean, look how much tar. Literally, like 2 inches or 3 inches of tarmac on top of. That's just not going to work, man. In the hot, that's just going to peel up, and the whole road would be demolished if it was done like that, just laid on top of a brick. Have you seen tarmackers, the way they prepare this? Not like this. It's definitely not like this.
Natty, and it brought me to this particular building that was being
Now,
renovated.
that's interesting. If this is a real image, that's quite interesting. That's pretty insane. Now, why would they do that? Why would they just build right over the top of it? Why wouldn't they just refurbish it and make it look like new instead of trying to hide it? Because the structure, structurally, it's all there, perfect, right? But that would be a lovely looking building. It had all windows and. But look what they want you to see. It's red brick crap.
And we're going to jump off the yellow brick road for a second, just for a few slides here. But it brought me to this building that was being redeveloped. And during that redevelopment project, what was revealed was this Victorian era facade underneath all this red brick. And this is just another image of it showing
Crazy.
the exposed Victorian era facade. And this is just a zoomed in portion of one of those photos. And just to give you
I mean, if you was there walking past back in the day and you see him constructing this red brick over, I mean, you'd be pissed off. You'd be saying, what the hell is this? Why are you doing this for? You're creating an eyesore. I mean, it looks disgustingly horrible. You've got all this architecture up and below it. Sick, actually.
a better look, but look for some older photos. And this,
then it makes you think about all the other buildings, doesn't it, as you go along? Just gets you thinking. I wonder what other buildings they've covered
structure has been many different things over the course of its lifetime. It used to be a Kroger's as well. And what I wanted to point out was that this structure was actually on the right here. This is how it used to look at one point. And it was two separate structures, actually. And what they ended up doing was removing the top two floors, which would be, in this case, the 5th and the 6th floors. So these two floors were removed and a whole new facade was put on these two structures, which were combined into this one structure. So I just thought that was really interesting and just something I came across while I was looking through some of this yellow brick road stuff. So I just wanted to point
They
that
were
out.
renovating in 51. Wow. Is that what I just said? Most fascinating discovery is that in 51, when the building went through massive renovation. Yeah. So they was doing this in 51. So they must have put this up. When did they put this red brick up then? If they... Crazy.
Looking through some of this yellow brick road stuff. So I just wanted to point that out. Interesting stuff. But getting back to this yellow brick road, as I was
Ancient tree in the background.
looking just into yellow bricks, I came across a lot of information coming out of Tacoma, Washington. Again, Pacific Northwest. And this is just an old photo looking out from the old City Hall to Mount Rainier. So I think this is dated 1894. But Tacoma actually has a lot of similarities to Seattle, Washington, actually. And I believe they're less than 40 miles apart, so that's not all too surprising. But in Tacoma, you also have talks of networks of underground tunnels, forgotten structures, and extensive grading. So we see a lot of the similarities with Seattle in Tacoma. I wanted to focus on this old city hall because it is an impressive structure that we're told was built in 1893, but unfortunately there was a mix-up during construction that resulted in the loss of the recorded plans for this building and another building. But
we've got the technology, but it's very difficult to rebuild it. It's not...
all the plans,
We had the record plans, but we lost them.
they have been lost, unfortunately. But what grabbed my attention was the fact that this structure, at least in part, was composed of these yellow or beige Roman bricks. And I just found that really interesting. And I believe in this photo, looking out of the structure, you can see on the outside some of these yellow beige Roman style bricks, and basically they're about, I think, 12 inches long. So they're longer, but they're also thinner. Like I think they're only 2 inches in height. So unique style, but just an interesting phenomenon. So I just wanted to kind of track that. And what else I should mention is that for the longest time, it was unknown where these bricks came from. And the popular theory is that they were part of a ship ballast. So they were used to weigh down some of these ships, and they were just taken from a ship's ballast and used in the construction. But in 2023, they believe that these bricks, all 400,000, came from San Francisco, actually. And I believe it was they're saying 1892. So a lot of these yellow-brown Roman bricks to be used for Tacoma's City Hall exterior arrived in 1892. Fair enough. Now, it is also hypothesized that these same bricks, the 400,000 that came from San Francisco, that was, discovered in 2023, it is believed that these same bricks were also used to build another structure that we know today as Stadium High School, which is mere minutes from the old City Hall. Now, a lot of you have probably seen this structure. For some reason, I always thought what is now a high school, always thought it was in Seattle for some reason, but it is actually in Tacoma. You can just see some of the entrances and their locations. It just seems odd, obviously, but apparently a lot of the bricks that were composing this structure are also this Roman style brick, and we're told they were coming from San Francisco. But in this case, with this structure, also, there was another theory, and this is a plaque that is outside of the school that I think is dated to 1992, and it talks about the construction a little bit of the school itself, and it talks about the brick, which we're told was imported from China. So again, different narratives, different buildings, but now we're being told they got it right. It was coming from San Francisco in 1892. Okay, fair enough. Here's just some images of the high school in the field. And I believe they also filmed parts of the movie 10 Things I Hate About You on a location here at this high school as well. Interesting looking structure. And I think if you look it up, it'll say it has 3 basements, or I've also heard people say 1 basement with 2 sub-basements. We're told it was initially intended to be one of these like luxury railroad hotels, the Northern Pacific Railroad, one of their hotels, luxury hotels, but it just, I think there was a financial panic in the 1890s, so all construction stopped, and then there was a fire that could be seen for miles apparently, and it left this structure gutted, and then it just got repurposed as a high school. So you have these 2 phases of construction, which I see at a lot of sites, and just potentially a construction photo. So I don't know what to make of all that, but
it was obviously intentionally caused, wasn't it, the fire?
Where things take a turn is that when construction was halted, apparently the Northern Pacific Railroad Company, they actually started removing some of these unique Roman bricks, apparently 40,000 of them, and they used these bricks in the construction of other railroad depots. And one of them, I believe, is in Missoula, Montana. And yeah, you can see this Roman styled brick, and you got yellow brown Roman styled brick throughout this structure. And something interesting to look at. And also in Wallace, Idaho, there's another Northern Pacific Railroad depot, and the first story is unusual because it has this 12-inch yellow brick that was originally intended for, again, this Olympia Hotel in Tacoma. Yeah, very interesting, and this is just a more recent image of this Northern Pacific Railroad Depot in Wallace, Idaho. Not the highest quality, but yeah, just something I find very interesting, because while I don't think this brick is actually the same age as brick we would associate with what we call the Roman Empire, there was a very unusual find at a place called Fort Vancouver, which is still in the state.
And I didn't realize Washington so mountainous. When you think of Washington, you think of like DC, right? Look at Washington. Look at it, just looks like a big rock compared to like all the green around it, right?
Washington, but the very southern portion of the state, pretty much on the border of Oregon, close to Portland. But at this Fort Vancouver, they actually
Palmer
found
Indian
many
Reservation.
bricks. Unusual bricks were found in 1982, and one of the archaeologists noted that their size and shape resembled Roman bricks. And the discovery of ancient Roman bricks were found in pits at the site, again, of this Fort Vancouver, we're told, was built in the 1800s, including an ancient brick with a pair of 2,000-year-old cat prints imprinted in it. So that is really interesting. So there are Roman bricks apparently at this fort from the 1800s, which they being the official narrative, are saying are actually Roman bricks. And they believe they were brought over once again as a ship ballast. Somebody from England disassembled like a Roman ruin and brought them over to the fort for some reason. But yeah, that is an odd coincidence. So maybe I'll have to rethink my stance. So I just wanted to look into some of these Roman bricks, these yellow bricks, and point out some of these patterns and just share it with you guys. So I think that's about all I have for you for today. I want to give a big shout out to my channel members. Thank you for all your help and support. It's greatly appreciated. As well as my patrons, thank you for all your help and support as well. It is also greatly appreciated.
Good stuff. That's pretty interesting, that, Jason. That's... What do you guys think of that then? The yellow bricks. I mean, I'm sure I've kind of seen them. We have, like, there are modern day yellow bricks, like yellowish sort of colour. Do have them in. Hey Brian, welcome in. Right, okay, let's crack on. Oh, come on. Right. Okay, let's go from here.
2025, 513. Let's see. There's a drop. It went down right there. But yeah, we got orange all the way around still.
In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it the other way. I ain't got much time, so I've only got a couple of more. So I do want to check this out.
Somebody that about your experience?
Oh, I mean, we had briefings, but everybody, geologists, other astronauts, mission control. We talked to everybody when we got back. Management. So.
Yeah. Okay, Bart. So your basic story was when you were a kid, you were obsessed with the moon missions. You said you were asleep when they first landed on the moon, but you were a huge fan of NASA and a big believer in the moon landing. And at one point, something happened, and you did a 180. Out of everything, and I know you cover a lot of ground with your theories, and in your documentaries, you do a very thorough job laying out every single point. But like, to you, what are like the top two or three reasons that you believe that the
I don't think a time-stamped video from the NASA archive, like the video they showed on a funny thing happened onto the way, is a theory. I don't think that's actual evidence, isn't it? I'm sure.
landing was a hoax?
Well, we can get into that, and I have evidence to show on all of those. The first, we have an eyewitness who saw them film Apollo 11 at Cannon Air Force Base. He confessed to it as he was dying.
Yeah, I showed you that video, the deathbed confession. I've showed that many times, and this is what Bart's talking about now.
So confessed to a homicide.
This is why the headphones help, because you get sometimes you're not talking into the microphone correctly.
Well,
Just make sure you keep it like this far away from your mouth when you're talking.
this far, okay.
Get it nice and close.
And what was one of the names? Do you remember one of the names that come up in that was James Webb? Interesting.
So we have an eyewitness and who was fearing the judgment of God as he was dying, and he confessed to a homicide. And if you want, you can bring up that image. It's image D1. This gentleman's name is Cyrus Eugene Akers. He was the chief of security at Cannon Air Force Base, which is the special operations or intelligence headquarters for the Air Force. And as he was dying, in the presence of his son, there's a picture of him, General, if you want to look at it.
Okay. This is Cyrus Eugene Akers.
That's right.
How did you discover this guy?
His son contacted me
Okay.
based after his father confessed. And the first thing he confessed to was a homicide, that he felt like he needed to confess that he had murdered somebody in the past. And his son found out that he murdered a fellow employee at Cannon Air Force Base. And the military police came in and investigated the homicide. And when they asked him, why did you kill him? He said it was to cover up the moon landing fraud, which they both had eyewitnessed. And he felt that his friend, who thought it was morally wrong, was going to go public with it. And so he murdered him to keep it a secret. If you go to D2, we can watch a 3-minute video of the son and see his testimony about it.
Okay, so this is a deathbed confession that the son told you about.
Correct.
And there was a police investigation into
There was
it
a
after
military police
a
investigation.
military police.
Right.
Okay, is there any hard evidence of this investigation, and what was the outcome of it?
Well, after his father's confession, which was videotaped.
Oh, it was on video.
That's correct. When they went out one day, their house burned down. They believe it was set intentionally by somebody who knew about the confession. After all, they had told the Air Force, military police, that the moon landing was fake. They reported that to their superiors. They found out there was a videotape of the confession, and so they burned their house down. And in fact,
Who burned their house down?
whoever, it was arson, I presume, the CIA or whoever.
And how long after this confession was the house burned down?
Within, I think, a couple of weeks, because they had video of the confession and they had some documentation. In fact, the gentleman's Air Force file has been completely deleted. We used a Freedom of Information Act request. They said there's no Cyrus Eugene Akers. There's never was in the Air Force, and yet I went to the military graveyard, which isn't too far from here, about 50 miles from here, and there he is, his tombstone, United States Air Force.
From here?
Yeah, it's about 50 miles from here.
Wow.
And he's in a military cemetery, and it says United States Air Force, Cyrus Eugene Akers, and that he served in Vietnam and Korea. And his son lived right across from the base. He said he was chief of security there. And so if you play video D2, we can have a video of the son and put it in his own words.
President Johnson in 1968, okay, in Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, he said by the time he got there, that there was already 2 large hangars that were connected. There was hundreds of dump trucks that came in and dumped sand and stone, and cement powder was
Over the
powdered
top.
over the top of all that.
And I remember saying when Poncho showed the the famous footprint, right? The astronaut footprint. I remember saying to him, "That's done in cement dust." You can just tell by the way it acts with the print. When you like, my dad used to be a fencer, and he used to bring in. We used to have bags of Portland cement, and he used to let us go out in the garden and play about with it, and it leaves a perfect print. When I mean perfect, you can put your hand in it and bring it up, and all the ridges in between your fingers will all stay upright. You put it out, and even the lines in your hands, you can see it in the cement dust, and it stays kind of rigid as well. And I could see that straight away. As soon as I see that print, it took me back to when I was a kid, and I was just like, yeah, that's how they done that.
To make it look like.
And then this guy comes out years later and says, yeah, they put cement dust over the top of it.
Lunar landscape. They had men that fashioned it into a lunar landscape, he said. Okay, I've never known my dad to lie, so this all took me by surprise. You know, what's that all about? So anyway, he said that in front of the airplane hangars was pole framing with large canvas tents that was concealing the inside of the staging area. Inside the staging area, on flatbed trucks, was uncrated the lunar lander that was reassembled back inside the hangars. All of the walls were painted flat black, and the ceilings as well. He was sworn to secrecy by the NSA, and they would put him in prison for breaking that oath. When Dad saw the moon landing on TV, he cried. He said he knew that what he had witnessed on TV was exactly what they recorded in that hangar. There was no reason for them to go flying around and everything. They had detailed high-definition photos of the landing area. There was no reason for them to go flying around to a different landing area that almost exhausted their fuel, except for drama, because everything had gone so smoothly. Nothing, you know, so it had to be something. Anyway, Dad was one of 3 guards that guarded the inside of the front entrance. There was a list of 15 people who could enter. No one else was allowed by order of President Johnson. And here is that list. And I gave it to Bart Seibel as well. And he checked out a lot of these names, and he says he can verify a lot of these people and what they do. And I come across a couple myself. Anyway, President Johnson, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, Werner von Braun, Robert Emenegger, Gene Kranz, James Webb, Joe Kerwin, Dr. Thomas Paine, Glenn Looney, Dr. Christopher Kraft, Dr. James Van Allen, General Trudeau, Lieutenant Colonel Donald Simon, and Grant Norrie.
Look at his face, that dude's face.
My dad, he raised me by the book. I know he didn't lie to me. And as I started seeing more and more of what he was telling me was true,
he looks a bit uneasy, this dude.
My dad wasn't lying.
All right, so this you would say this is the top piece of evidence that you...
No, it's the most compelling to people because we have a testimony of it. Now, if I may ask...
It is a testimony, but it's not actual hardcore evidence.
I understand. We've got 3.5 hours. He's got 40 minutes head start on me.
Yes, he does.
And so I can present my evidence. And I have a couple of questions. If I climbed Mount Everest and was known for climbing Mount Everest and got an award or a medal, and I was hired at companies as their CEO for having climbed Mount Everest, and somebody came along and started saying, you didn't do it. It was filmed in a TV studio. I certainly wouldn't fly and make an airport change and stay overnight in a hotel and go to podcast to defend that I had climbed Mount Everest. I wouldn't waste my time. So why are you here?
Me?
Yeah. If
Because I'm
you
not
walked
wasting
on
my
the
ti-
moon and it's so obvious that you walked on the moon, I wouldn't fly anywhere to debate somebody whether or not I walked on Mount Everest if I did. So why are you here?
I'm here to tell my story. He asked me to come and share my story. Did I walk on the moon? And I did walk on the moon. The evidence is overwhelming that we landed on the moon. And so I've told my story for the last 50-something years, almost, or whatever it is. We landed in 72. So I have been asked to share my experience by reputable people, and so I do that. And I am not lying. I landed on the moon, and the evidence is overwhelming.
Well, actually, the opposite is true. People can say anything. The evidence is not overwhelming.
What is
And-
evidence?
Hang on, hold on a second.
we'll
hold
get-
on,
we'll
hold on a
get-
second, Bart.
we'll get
Hold
into
on.
that.
Let's lay out some more of your evidence.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you retired a general, right? Okay. What was your security clearance?
Top secret.
Okay. So when you have a top secret, you're not allowed to tell your wife or your children, right?
What?
Whatever the secrets are. Whatever secrets you have as a top secret clearance, if you told your wife or your children, you would be violating your oath. Is that right?
In the military, that's true, but
Okay.
we were. NASA did not have us swear an oath that we are lying or not lying.
I understand, but the point is,
But you had generals there. You had all these generals and, common army people there on the site.
you have top secret clearance, and telling your wife or your children would be violating that oath. So your oath to the corrupt United States federal government includes lying to your wife and to your children. Now, there are 100,000 trials every year in America. 90% of the people are guilty, and yet 100,000 people raise their hand and swear that they're telling the truth. So does every Nazi war criminal. They look like benevolent grandfathers, and yet they go smiling through life and denying to the very end that they committed these crimes, which they did. Now, if you're willing to lie to your wife and to your children, why should we believe you?
Believe me about what?
Well, you just said you're willing to lie to your wife and children to keep your oath to the corrupt federal government. So if you're willing to lie,
I'm not lying to them. I'm not lying to anybody. I'm telling them the truth. I landed on the moon.
Just because somebody has, I don't think it's fair to say just because he has a top secret clearance and he's under an oath to protect government secrets, that doesn't mean that he is inherently a liar.
I understand that.
And he also
but
said
it
that it's-
shows that he is willing.
Just the word government secrets should make the old alarm bells ring, right?
Lie to his wife and children, and
Red
if
flags.
he's willing to do that, he's willing to lie to the rest of the world. So that's my point. No Nazi war criminal has ever come forward and turned himself in. And when arrested and interrogated, not a single one confessed, even though they were guilty. I'm just mentioning that. So either the gentleman we saw is lying or you're lying. One of the two. So would a general with top secret clearance be more likely to lie, or would a sergeant on his deathbed who confessed to a homicide be more willing to tell the truth?
I think there's crazy people out there. There's lots of crazy lunatics out there who are willing to, who will
Yeah,
say,
but it's fact. His dad was there. All his credentials, he's shown them.
anything.
His
and
dad
make
was in the army.
up stories. And the same thing is true that
And
people,
one of them is sitting across from me.
Well,
I don't think so. I don't necessarily think that. I think that anybody who is in a high level military position that has to protect government secrets is going to protect their oath. It doesn't mean they're a liar. That means that they're protecting national secrets, something they swore to do and devoted their career to. And if they divulge those secrets, they will go to prison for it. And there's been many cases where people have done that, have been sent to prison by the federal government for blowing the whistle on things and following whistleblower protocol. So I don't think we're going to get anywhere by calling people liars. First of all.
Well,
Second of all,
I'm not. What I'm saying is either the gentleman we saw who was lying as he's dying, or you're lying. Only one of them is the true, right?
Okay.
Either that.
Show the footage of the funny thing happened on the way to the moon. I wonder if he shows it. National Apollo missions tech mission footage from Apollo. Is that it? Yeah. I don't think he's showing nothing though. One proof NASA didn't go. I think here we go. Yeah, he does show it. Okay.
That guy's lying while he was dying, confessing to a homicide.
sure. What's your point?
Well, I'm just bringing that to
Okay.
the audience's attention.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, I had a little side note. Who do you think killed JFK?
I have no idea.
Clue.
Huh?
Okay.
I believe. Well, I know what this.
What's your personal opinion?
I don't. My personal opinion is I don't remember Oswald or whatever his name is. I don't remember the
just spew out the narrative. You can tell he's lying, man.
name.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey.
The government's
Oswald.
position was that he acted alone and he was the sole shooter of JFK.
Yeah.
That's what you believe. Yeah. Well, 75% of Americans disagree. The gentleman's relatives disagree. Bobby Kennedy Jr. says he's 100% certain that he was murdered by the CIA because
Hey, Jono, welcome in.
abolished them. And then a few years later, Robert McNamara, before he died, he was defense
Glenn,
secretary
welcome
during
in.
the Vietnam
Welcome in,
War.
guys.
He
Fiona.
confessed that the whole reason
Well, we get back to
that
it.
the war was started, which 90% of the public was against, was they fabricated an attack by the North Vietnamese on an American ship in the Gulf of Tonkin. Even Wikipedia says it was falsified. Now, Congress passed a law called the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, which led to the deaths of 3 million people, including 58,220 of their own citizens. So if they're willing to kill their own president, willing to kill 58,220 of their own citizens, I don't think they're going to have a problem faking a video image of the moon. In fact, NASA has never kept a schedule in its entire existence, except the most complicated one of all time. Somehow they were ahead of schedule. You see that? So here's some names on here, and I wondered if you knew those names. He was very specific. He kept this list as a souvenir. So do you know who President Johnson is? You know Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, Werner von Braun. Who's Robert Ebenecker?
I don't know.
Are you familiar with Cannon Air Force Base?
Not really. I've been to Cannon, landed there, and refueled, but I've never been stationed there.
So what does special ops mean in the Air Force?
It's just what you're saying, special ops,
Top secret stuff.
generally.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. What about Joseph Kerwin?
Joe Kerwin was an astronaut, doctor, medical doctor. That's the Joe Kerwin I know.
What about Thomas Paine?
Thomas Paine was head of NASA.
Okay. Christopher Kraft?
He was head of Johnson Space Center, but he's also head of mission
You
control.
can't wiggle your way
What
out.
about
bro.
Arthur Trudeau?
I don't know him. I don't remember him.
He's General of Army Intelligence. What about Donald Simon?
I don't remember him.
Grant Norrie?
Who?
Yeah, those people we couldn't track down.
What
They're
was the
either-
last one you said? Grant Norrie?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
never heard
think
of that
he's
one.
either NSA or CIA. We couldn't track him down. So
I guess the point here is that, and I can attest to this.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me. I've lost my.
Right. Let me sum it up for you. The one of the main reasons for me, and I think I'm speaking for a lot of other folks when I say this, is that when it comes to the Apollo missions happened in the middle of the Cold War during the peak of government distrust. That's when we know, according to all the declassified documents by the CIA and the FBI, is that the government was lying and deceiving the public more than ever. I mean, I don't know how much they're doing now, but as far as all the documents that we have,
More
that
than
was the
ever.
peak.
No, it hasn't stopped. It's been the same. Constant lies. Not more than ever.
when-
Just constant.
The president of the United States was murdered. That's when we did the Gulf of Tonkin, got into the Vietnam War. The government started doing a secret mind control program with using LSD and other drugs, and that there was the Manson family murders and all of this stuff, right? So when people look at this stuff and they're learning the history of the Cold War, and they see that the most astonishing feat of mankind ever happened right in the middle of all of that stuff, people just, I think they get taken back by it. Like, so the government was lying about all this other stuff, but the one thing they didn't lie about was the most amazing feat of mankind. Does that make sense to you? Does that sort of logic, does that make sense? Why people would question that?
Remember, they lost the data and the technology. It just suddenly went missing from their stores.
Question Apollo?
Yes, just based on all of
this
the
dude,
strategic deception that was happening within the government, like MK Ultra, mind control experiments that were going on, the Vietnam War, the assassination of President Kennedy, the Gulf of Tonkin, all of that stuff. It was right in the middle of all of that. The Bay of Pigs, right? There was Operation Northwoods that got declassified, where the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to fly an airplane with nobody in it as a drone and blow it up as a pretext to invade Cuba.
Killing Americans. They were willing to kill Americans to fake an attack on Cuba.
This is real declassified stuff that's come out in the federal government with the Warren Commission and all of this stuff. So
the same people who would later approve the Apollo program.
So that's
you're saying we never landed on the moon?
Well, no. What the question is?
You didn't know that before you got here?
No,
Charlie.
You're a really good actor.
I really didn't know that.
Did you ever win the Academy Award for Best Actor?
I really didn't
cheated.
know that you believe that we lied on 6 missions that landed on the moon.
Charlie, does it make sense to you?
That's right.
Why...
That's how arrogant the federal government is. Now, if I may have my 40 minutes to answer your question.
Hold on one second. I want to make sure this lands with him. Does it make sense why people would question that based on all of the other bullshit and lying that was going on, that we know was actually all the other stuff that we know for a fact was deception?
To me, Apollo was real.
To you, but I'm saying...
No, wait a minute. In the United States, there were 400,000 people working on Apollo.
Right.
Well, let me...
Just a minute. Let me finish.
You had 40 minutes already. I've only had 10.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Forgive me.
That's one of the... must be real because of 400,000. And, of course, every year that number increases. Mm-hmm. There are 400,000 tellers at Bank of America. But do you really think what the teller knows and what the CEO knows about corruption in the bank are identical? I interviewed Eugene Krantz. He told me that someone in the command center at the console can tell no difference whatsoever between a simulation and an actual flight. Do we really think the CIA is so stupid to tell the guy making the glove or the door or the boot, hey, we're really not going to the moon, be sure not to tell anybody? And that's why they had you astronauts at the command center to cover the mistakes about faking it. Once the rocket went up, there's only 3 eyewitnesses to the mission and no independent press coverage. So if you add people who delivered food and made paper clips and did the printing,
he's looking uneasy.
And all their secretaries,
he's not looking.
Vendors,
he's looking a bit
you could
shook.
probably pad 400,000. But the atomic bomb involved 129,500 people, and only 8 people knew what they were building. So if someone in the command center cannot tell the difference between a real flight and a simulated flight, how can the public watching it from their living room or people years later? So that argument is flat. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yes, it's flat.
And neither does
Well done,
the
Mark.
argument
It's flat.
that the Russians would have spilled the beans. Because I know somebody who works in the command center of the Chinese Space Agency. He said everybody there knows that the moon missions are fake and they're blackmailing NASA because Congress passed a law forbidding space technology to be sold to China, and they're receiving it anyway by blackmail. If I had a picture of a world leader with a prostitute, I could upload it to the internet, and now it's worth nothing. Or I could blackmail them year after year after year. And that's what the Soviet Union is doing. Putin knows. He wasn't surprised to find out that the moon missions are fake, and neither is China. So that doesn't fly either. We're being blackmailed, which is another reason for the truth to come out. Now, I also interviewed Betty Grissom, the widow of the man who was going to be the first man to walk on the moon, who was a whistleblower.
Didn't they murder him? Or he's Grissom? Was he the dude that got burned on re-entry or something?
At NASA to such a degree that he received Secret Service protection the weeks up to his death.
Yeah,
I
it was
interviewed her for 4 hours. I interviewed her son for 3 hours, who's a 747 pilot. They say with 100% certainty that the man who was going to be the first man to walk on the moon was murdered by the CIA. And if you go to D3, it's a short clip. You can see Scott Grissom say that out of his own mouth. So why is the CIA killing Apollo astronauts who are whistleblowers? What a coincidence, right? Go ahead and play that clip. It's D3.
I think it was intentionally sabotaged by someone. It's been a question in my mind, what was found in the accident investigation and how was that handled? Was the CIA involved, or whoever? But it was done intentionally.
So
do you know the story of I'm sure you know the story of the Gus Grissom was Apollo.
Gus Grissom.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And according to his son and widow, he was murdered by the CIA. She told me that on January 26, 1967, he telephoned her from NASA and said, "Hon, for some strange reason, the CIA is all over the launch pad today. I've never seen them here before. For some reason, they showed up today."
Did you ever see the
very
CIA?
next day, he's dead by a, quote, accident. One of his last words were, "If we can't talk between two buildings, how are we going to go to the moon?" They couldn't get a wired intercom to work between two buildings. And Neil Armstrong's supposed to pick up the first moon rock. He rehearsed it 6 weeks beforehand, and the stick to pick up the rock falls apart. And the lunar lander crashed weeks beforehand. If they can't get a stick with a bag on the end of it to stay together, if they can't get an intercom to work between two buildings, how are they going to go to the moon? The Soviets launched the first satellite, the first animal, the first man, the first woman, the first spacewalk, the first crew of 3, the first of 2 spacecrafts altogether. They spent 5 time man hours in space, and they never went to the moon. China, the most industrialized nation on Earth, says with 50 years better technology, it's going to take at least 15 years to go to the moon. And yet somehow they did it in 8 years with 1960s technology. Now, if you play clip 4, this is when my film, Astronauts Gone Wild, the link will be in the description of your video, to Sorrell.com. We interviewed Ed Mitchell and showed him the footage, which is one of the proofs that we'll look at. Footage we uncovered that says, do not show to the public at the beginning of the reel, and they're faking being halfway to the moon. They can't leave Earth orbit. And when he was shown that, he turned beet red. He started cursing. He literally kicked me from behind. And in the commotion, we left a wireless microphone on him. And in the commotion, my cameraman forgot to hit stop record. And you can play back that clip. It's about 5 seconds long. They're talking about calling the CIA to have me killed.
Let's see it.
And who killed?
Me.
You want to call the CIA? Have them whacked.
Now, my source, the son of Cyrus Eugene Akers, after he spoke to me, he went out and he had a security system with a password and everything. That was hacked. And his house was broken into, and everything about his dad was taken. And then a couple of days later, this is about 3.5 years ago, the CIA shows up and threatens to kill him and his family if he ever talks to me again. So the dead astronaut's son says the CIA is involved, and he got whistleblower protection up until the day that he died. The CIA is threatening to kill me, right? And why would this source of mine, who was also threatened by the CIA, he received whistleblower protection by the FBI. Now, if they went to the moon, why is he receiving, a few years ago, whistleblower protection for being the son of the man who confessed that the moon missions were fake? And then if you play clip 5, which is about a minute long, from the documentary Conspiracy Theory, Did We Go to the Moon? There are other deaths. There are a total of 15% of the Apollo astronauts died in accidents within a 2-year period. These are the astronauts who would not cooperate with the fraud. Go ahead, play the clip.
But Grissom wasn't the only Apollo critic to meet with a suspicious and untimely death. Thomas Ronald Barron was a safety inspector during Apollo 1's construction. After the fire, Barron testified before Congress that the Apollo program was in such disarray that the United States would never make it to the moon. Then exactly 1 week after he testified, Barron's car was struck by a train. But the Apollo program continued. And so did the string of untimely deaths. Between 1964 and 1967, a total of 10 astronauts lost their lives in freak accidents. These deaths accounted for an astonishing 15% of NASA's astronaut corps.
To keep something that's alive wrapped up and covered over, you've got to eliminate all the people that can talk about it.
So we have an eyewitness. That's proof, right?
Akers?
That's right.
Well,
and a
I mean,
deathbed,
it's one person's testimony. There's no corroborating evidence for
either
it.
he's telling you the truth.
I don't like
or
this
lying.
host dude, man.
Sure.
I'll assume any guy who confesses to a murder, is probably telling the truth.
You didn't talk to the guy himself. It was allegedly a videotape that you never saw.
That's right. But according to his son, he
right.
was there at the time. And you just judge, is that guy of the video we just saw telling the truth or not? I think it's pretty honest, pretty obvious that he's telling the truth.
I mean,
So
he told his dad's rank, where he was, all the people there, how they did it, and this mong on the right saying, "Oh yeah, it's just
can make their judgment.
That's one reason. Now another
Wait a minute, telling the truth about what?
About his father's deathbed confession of murdering a coworker to cover up the moon landing fraud at Cannon Air Force Base. So to me, that guy's telling the truth, which means if he is, then his father did participate in the moon landing fraud. He went into great detail about the lunar module and the fake lunar set in an airplane hangar filmed a year beforehand. President Johnson showed up. He kept a list of 15 people. Some in their memoirs say they were at Cannon Air Force Base. Cannon Air Force Base used to have on their website, President Johnson visited us in 1968. They removed it once I started investigating it. And the main reason for many people is that today, with 5 decades, better rockets and technology, the farthest that NASA can send an astronaut into space is 1,000th the distance to the moon. So what they're claiming is, for the first time in the
basically low Earth orbit. That's it. No one's getting past low Earth
history of
orbit.
the world, technology was greater in the past than in the future. Because during the Apollo program, all the computers combined had 1 million.
It's kind of confusing, isn't it? It really is confusing. They went to the moon with a computer with its powerful processors, was actually just a calculator. That's how much processing power they use to go to the moon.
Computing power of a cell phone.
Or cell phone, calculator, whatever, but
that would be like Lindbergh.
They can't reproduce this because the technology's too come on, man.
Across the Atlantic, 3,000 miles in 1927, and 56 or 7 years later in 1982, no airplane on Earth can fly over the Atlantic, and the best one can only fly 3,000 miles. It's impossible to have better technology in the past than in the future. how is it? I mean, is there any technological machine you can think of, cell phone,
supersonic jets,
microwave, anything that worked better in 1969 than its counterpart today?
What about supersonic jets?
What about them? The sound barrier is broken 200 times a day all around the world in military aircraft.
We stopped using them because they were ineffective and they weren't cost effective. They were inefficient and they were way more
Airplanes are breaking the sound barrier at a rate of 200 a day.
We're using the same airplanes we've been using since the 50s, and we stopped using the supersonic jets. So that would be one example.
No, they're still using jets that break the sound barrier every day.
Not commercial ones, though.
Well, they decided that people aren't going to pay 20 times more to get there twice as fast.
Exactly.
Right?
That's my point.
Right. Well, they could use it, but they're just not.
Correct.
Right. So let's listen to this clip.
How fast did Concorde go? How fast did Concorde go? Was it twice the speed of sound, was it, or something? 1,000 something miles an hour. 8 inches per mile squared, 1,000 miles an hour. Work that nose tilt down. It's literally miles.
D6 of an Apollo astronaut saying something very bizarre, that NASA intentionally destroyed all the technology. Now, you still have in the Air Force, you may know more specifically, but the B-52 bomber was designed 70 years ago. It's simple, it's reliable, the same words used about the Saturn V rocket. And there's still 200 of them in service today. So why would they spend a modern equivalent of $250 billion to make this rocket that flies to the moon on the very first attempt and then destroy it? Listen to NASA saying they destroyed the technology.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
So, General, why was that technology destroyed? Why was it destroyed?
Why do you know why, or have any idea why the technology was destroyed by NASA?
I don't know that the technology was destroyed.
Okay,
we
so
built.
NASA astronaut is lying.
Hold on, Bart.
Okay,
Bart, you gotta let him finish his thought.
Yeah. We flew to the moon. Okay, the program was successful. We did 6 landings on the moon.
The program was successful. That's all you need to take out of that. The program was successful.
Okay, we used technology that was designed by Marshall Space Flight Center called a Saturn V rocket. Was the biggest rocket so far ever launched to get us to the moon. Okay, so we went to the moon. Took 3 days to get there. We orbited the moon for a day to get everything correct. Generally, it went that way for all of the 6 landings on the moon. And so we got to the moon. We manned the space.
Answer the question. What was the question? Why did they destroy the technology? And listen to the waffle he's coming out with. He can't answer it. He's just waffling.
So, General, why was that technology destroyed?
That's the question, right? Listen to the answer.
Why do you know why, or have any idea why the technology was destroyed by NASA?
I don't know that the technology was destroyed.
Okay,
we
so
built.
So NASA astronaut is lying.
Hold on, Bart.
Okay,
Bart, you gotta let him finish his thought.
Yeah. We flew to the moon. Okay, the program was successful. We did 6 landings on the moon. Okay, we used technology that was designed by Marshall Space Flight Center called a Saturn V rocket. Was the biggest rocket so far ever launched to get us to the moon. Okay, so we went to the moon. Took 3 days to get there. We orbited the moon for a day to get everything correct. Generally, it went that way for all of the 6 landings on the moon. And so we got to the moon. We manned the spacecraft. We in our flight, we had a delay because of the command module had
Yeah, but why did they destroy the technology? That's all we want to know. We don't want to know all this techno nonsense.
problem with the main engine. And Mission Control had to verify that they could get it fixed or work around it.
Waffling.
So anyway, we were late landing on Apollo 16 because of this problem. And we landed in the place we were supposed to land, at Descartes Highlands. We spent 72 hours on the moon. We brought back 200 pounds of moon rocks. Or thereabouts.
Moon rocks, which turned out to be petrified wood. That's all it. The Dutch got their bit of moon rock, analysed it, and it was just wood. It was... Right, mate.
Maybe not that much. I forgot exactly.
But the question about the technology being destroyed, you're not aware of the technology being destroyed or gone missing from all the Apollo programs.
Okay, so that NASA astronaut is lying that the technology was destroyed.
No, he said he wasn't aware of it.
Okay. Well, according to NASA, a modern-day astronaut, he said that a couple of years ago, that all the Apollo technology was destroyed. I interviewed Eugene Krantz. He told me all the telemetry data was destroyed. All the original videotapes were destroyed.
Well,
Right before they were to be transferred to HD. So,
but we still have the original film.
No,
the 16 millimeter film is still in Houston at the Johnson Space Center.
Oh, that I don't know. The videotape is what they intentionally
the
destroyed.
videotape of the projection that was given.
Right, you're talking about the camera-mounted lunar module that took one picture.
All of the film that was shot on all the emissions on all of the missions is still in its original format in the film reels in that.
But
Johnson Space
majority
Center.
of the video images is videotape,
right?
And that was intentionally destroyed.
But those were just copies of the film, right?
No, these are the originals. I talked to Eugene Krantz. He said the original videotapes were accidentally recorded over, and the only machine on Earth that could play it back was intentionally disassembled.
Okay, I'm confused.
So that even if they're found, they couldn't be played.
I'm confused.
All the telemetry data where the rocket really was. So back to the destroyed.
1 second. Can I ask a question?
Well, either this guy is lying, right? Why would a NASA astronaut lie? Has there ever been a time, and this is another proof, has there ever been a time in the history of the world that someone developed a new technology, broke the sound barrier, split the atom, and then destroyed the technology afterwards? It's never happened. It's never happened. They destroyed it to cover their tracks, because I went scuba diving, and to have an hour's worth of air, it takes 2 tanks this big and that big around. That would be 16 tanks of air you would have to have on your back on the moon. And then to allegedly get the lunar module down to 72 degrees on inside for 3 days against 250 degrees.
Those 2 tanks are an hour's worth of air. That's interesting. And how long were they on the moon for?
Is outside on a bank of essentially
interesting that
car batteries. It can't be done. That's why they destroyed all the technology, because it could be proved later that the rocket didn't have enough fuel to leave Earth orbit, which we have proof of as well. I have von Braun's own quote, which we'll read, that says one rocket will never go to the moon without multiple fueling, and we'll show that from von Braun as well.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What does that got to do with our discussion?
Well, he asked, what proof do we have that they didn't go to the moon? And there's a lot of proof.
Okay,
that you didn't go to the moon.
How about the proof that we did go to the moon?
Well, we already heard all of that. 400,000 people, that's been refuted. The Russians would have blabbed, that's been refuted. The moon rocks has been refuted. It's one of my clips. That Neil Armstrong, chain of custody, allegedly picked up a rock, personally put it in his pocket, and then later personally gave it to the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, which was immediately sealed in a container in a museum, was opened up a few years ago, and it's petrified wood. It's a fake. The moon rocks
it's just
are
a
fake.
bit of wood.
And Antarctica. Von Braun went to Antarctica to pick up pounds and pounds of lunar meteorite.
Yes.
So the rocks are either duplicates of meteorites picked up on Earth,
Mm-hmm.
made in a ceramics lab, are just fake.
All right, Bart.
And
you
NASA
just-
had no comment. What do you have to say for yourself for a rock that had chain of custody from the moon to Neil Armstrong's hand to this museum ends
Right.
up being a fake? NASA says no comment.
All right, you're peppering us with fact after fact, and it's just too much. We need to stick to one thing, okay? What's one
What do you mean
thing?
it's too much? It's too much for you, bro. Your brain can't take it.
Let's stick on one topic so we can go back and
You
forth.
don't need to. He's just showing. He's telling you facts. Telling you facts, and your brain can't handle it.
We can get Charlie's opinion on it. We can get your opinion on it, and I can evaluate what's going on. Let's talk about the film, okay? So one of the biggest questions people have about this is why is all the original footage and the telemetry data gone from the Apollo missions? But I want to clarify something first. All of the footage that we have from the moon, was that shot on film specifically? On film cameras, like 16 millimeter film?
We had a 16 millimeter camera. We had Hasselblads, which took
Hasselblad, that was it. It was on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't remember the camera.
photographs,
Mm-hmm.
and we had TV.
Just
that
check the
sent
chat.
back
Make sure the chat's
television
okay.
from the lunar rover to Earth.
Like a specific type of camera for television?
Yeah, it was a television camera that we mounted on the front of the rover.
Okay, but then those don't use film. I'm not a camera expert. They don't use film?
No,
They
it was a
just use-
TV picture.
Okay, so just broadcast straight.
Hey,
doesn't record
what's
anything
up?
On it. It's just live broadcast.
Philly, what's up?
Was
Philly
recorded
Blanc
down
in the
here in
house.
Mission
We got
Control.
Martin in the
Okay, got
house.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, I understand.
London,
didn't have a
London
recorder
girls
on-
in.
well, we
Welcome
had-
in London. Been a while.
I'm not sure.
Hope you're
but
well.
I don't think we had a recorder on
Dorian,
board.
shout out to Dorian,
so the
John.
TV cameras were recorded down at Mission Control, and those would have been
Big shout out to
recorded on
everybody.
tapes, I'm guessing.
Right.
And those would be the tapes that have been erased.
Correct.
Okay, so that was the incompetence of NASA, allegedly.
Well, or intentional. Just like
or-
they
or intentional,
intentionally
right.
destroyed the technology, they intentionally erased the tapes.
So they- so
knew what they were.
those
Their
tapes-
excuse was to make room for other projects.
So, Steve, if you ask ChatGPT, let's ask ChatGPT.
Oh, God.
What happened to the original tapes?
Ask ChatGPT. Get this clown out of here. Yes, this is how retarded he is. Now let's ask ChatGPT.
The NASA missions, and let's see what the answer it gives
Oh
is.
my God.
Well, that would be this right here.
Oh, you already have it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's so
The original tapes were later erased and reused. NASA routinely used magnetic tapes in the 60s and through the 80s due to storage, cost, and shortages. So that's crazy. That the tapes from the lunar missions were recorded over.
So you won't believe the guy standing next to you, sitting next to you, that's telling you all the facts and information. You go to ChatGPT and then it's like, oh yeah, ChatGPT says it's real, so it has to be. That's crazy, man.
they're saying that the
Just listen to the dude next to you, mate. I mean,
yeah, and they were recorded
the
over
the
right
locally
before.
recorded stuff was
it becomes facts once ChatGPT's told this dude.
glow scan
Ridiculous.
stuff
Film, right?
Yeah. No, I think it was tape. It's actual tape, like
Okay.
like tape recorders.
Okay.
They use that technology instead of film.
Yeah, it was
and then
1-inch
that
videotape.
stuff was
Reel to
recorded
reel.
over, but the stuff that they sent through broadcast survived.
Well,
So that's what it is.
Ron Howard, whose grandfather warned him that the moon missions were fake, didn't listen, wanted to make an IMAX movie,
Mm-hmm.
and he requested all the original videotapes to be broadcast, projected on an IMAX screen about 100 feet by 120 feet.
Right.
Bigger than they've ever been done before. He wanted to use the originals. And it was between that request and a couple of days later that everything got erased.
Mm-hmm.
He had to go to Blockbuster and rent VHS tapes and reduce them to this tiny portion of the screen. Otherwise, the image quality would be so bad. You can see the VHS tracking line.
Is that
90%
a fact?
of that movie is reenactments.
Is that a fact that what year was this when Ron Howard requested the tapes from
I
NASA?
think it was around 1999, something like that.
So around, Steve, hopefully you can look this up. Ron Howard
Ask
working on
ChatGTP.
an IMAX film in around 1999 requested the original tapes from NASA. And you're saying it is an absolute fact that we can look up that NASA erased those tapes.
You just did. Yeah.
Right after Ron Howard requested them?
Well, that was my research at the time. I did my film at Sabrel.com took 7 years to produce. I was given $1 million by someone who builds rockets for NASA, who knows the moon missions are fake, who thought it was his patriotic duty to expose it. Now, not only is it the first time in history that technology is greater in the past and in the future. Not only is it the only time in history that all of the documentation, all the technology, according to NASA astronaut, was intentionally destroyed, it's also
Of man's greatest achievement.
the first time in history that nobody could repeat the event 50 years later. Imagine them splitting the atom in 1945, the first atomic bomb, and 50 years later, no one can split the atom, when in fact, just 10 years later, atomic bombs were 1,000 times more powerful. So if they could go to the moon on the first attempt ahead of schedule with 1/1,000th the computing power of a cell phone, we would have been on Mars 10 years later. We'd be in another solar system by now, and there'd be bases all over the moon, taking people back and forth to play basketball in 1/0 or 1/6 gravity. The best NASA can do today is send mannequins to orbit the moon, when somehow we could play golf and drive cars on the moon with 1960s technology on the first attempt. There have been 6 presidents who have said a total of 9 times they're going to return to the moon in 5 years. You had Ronald Reagan said it, then Clinton said it.
Heard it all through my life. We've all heard it, right? Yeah, we'd be going, the next president that comes in, we're going to the moon. It's just nonsense.
Bush Sr. said it, then Bush Jr. said it twice, and Obama said it twice, and Trump said it one time, and they can't do it. With 50 years better technology, they can't return to the moon in 50 years. But
Why is that,
somehow
Charlie?
they could do it with 1960s technology on the first attempt.
Why don't you think we've been able to go back to the moon since 72?
Because they spent their money on other programs.
Well, the government spends every month 70% more money than they take
Look,
in.
I'm not going to argue with you about this. We went to the moon. 6 times we landed on the moon.
You lied to the American public 6 times, which
That's
shows the
not
arrogance of the American. Well, then
You
I
don't
guess
believe
this guy
you don't
is
believe we landed on the moon?
You didn't know that before you got here.
No.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
His life's
So
work.
how did we get 600 pounds of moon rocks?
Well, like I
Let's
said,
talk about the moon rock. Okay, let's put a pin there. Now let's talk about the moon rocks. Okay, what evidence do you have? I know you have some that proves that the moon rocks were not actually moon rocks, right?
Yeah, if you could let me find the clip here.
Bar's
or you could
position
look
is-
it up.
Bar's position is the moon rocks aren't
Netherlands
real.
fake moon rock. Let's go to clip D7 real quick. This is a recent article about the French government, and they committed a crime in 1945 that they're still lying about today. And what happened was their soldiers returned from World War II and wanting their back pay. And they refused to give it to them because they were black. And when they kept protesting, they machine gunned 300 of them in a single base and buried them. That just came out. That happened in 1945. And play the clip and let's read this news article. It says one of the things that they did was they fabricated.
What does that have to do with moon rocks?
Because it shows governments, it says they fabricated and destroyed evidence. So we're going to look at the fabrication. I'm just trying to find the clip here. It's out of sequence.
All right, that has
about
absolutely
about the
nothing to do
moon
with
rocks.
Bart.
Or you could look it up. Look up fake moon rock in Amsterdam.
Yeah, so
I mean, who's this bro on the video? I mean, he's pretty slow, isn't he? You said get up D7 like 3 minutes ago, and it
moon
still
rock's
isn't
something that is
being
available
played.
for the public to see.
D29.
Yeah. I mean, the moon rocks are on display all over the world, and also they're still doing experiments on the moon rock. NASA's the Lunar Planetary Institute, or whoever it is controlling those and sending those out. People submit experiment requests still today about to do experiments on the moon rocks. So there's still moon rocks available.
And did they let outside researchers do analysis on them? And
universities, yeah.
Universities do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they let universities have some. Like, I'm not involved in that at all.
Right, sure.
And, you know, I've been with NASA for a long time, but the moon rocks are unique, and they're radioactive, whatever, and
not bits of petrified wood, you liar.
Not radioactive.
The government from the Netherlands have looked into it. They've tested it, and it's just petrified wood. Look at this liar, literally lying through his teeth. That's crazy.
But the way they have been collected, they were collected on every mission. They were isolated when they got back and put in the lunar receiving lab, and now they're still being given out samples. People are still requesting samples of moon rocks.
Last hour, guys.
Evaluates these experiments that they request, and apparently they're still giving some of it out. I haven't been with NASA in a long, long time, so I don't know how it works today.
So Bart, how do you explain us having actual moon rocks here on Earth?
Well, like I said, von Braun went to Antarctica. There's a picture of him in Antarctica where he collected hundreds of pounds of lunar meteorites, which they use for fake moon rocks. NASA also has the most advanced ceramics lab in the world, where they could take a rock and falsify micrometeorites in it. And then go to clip 29. This is about moon rocks.
What?
It says they opened one up and it proved to be fake. Do you realize a few years ago, a 70-year-old woman was arrested by the FBI and thrown in a cell, not allowed to go to the bathroom. She had to pee on herself because she had a paperweight with one speck of an alleged moon rock in the very center of it, and she couldn't pay her electric bill or mortgage. And it was given to her by her husband, who got it from someone at NASA. And the FBI surrounded her to get that so that it couldn't be opened and examined independently. And this is just a tiny speck of a moon rock.
Who is this? What was this woman's name?
I don't know, but you could look it up. 70-year-old woman arrested for having a moon rock or trying to sell a moon rock.
See if you can find it, Steve.
And play clip 29. You said, what's the proof?
Where's this video, dude?
You have D29 there, Steve?
Let's see it.
Look at D29. It's a still of the article.
Still asking for it.
Okay, from the Telegraph.
Given to
there he is. Finally got there, you clown.
Is a fake.
Yeah, it definitely is just petrified wood. We've seen this. Hangman 1128.
This is one that had complete chain of custody from the surface of the moon to Neil Armstrong's hand, to his pocket, to the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, hermetically sealed, opened a few years ago after someone watched my film out of curiosity, and it ends up being this out-of-world looking piece of petrified wood. Now, unless trees are growing on the moon rock is fake. And yet no reporter has the courage to ask if the moon rocks are fake. What about the moon missions? I had a reporter from the Washington Post that broke the Watergate story. I showed him the footage, which we're going to show, of them faking being halfway to the moon, that says don't show to the public at the beginning of it.
You're all over the place.
Yeah, but
we'll get to that.
The point is, he agreed that it proved they never left Earth orbit, but he was forbidden to publish it.
Okay. We got to stick to one topic. Let's go back to the moon rocks. This piece of petrified wood that you were showing that was given to the Prime Minister of Holland, right? Or I thought it was a Dutch Prime Minister.
The same thing. Dutch and Holland. Or Netherlands.
I thought it was like the Netherlands.
Yeah. Netherlands,
right?
Holland.
Okay. I've heard this story before. I first heard it from you. I also heard a pushback on this, that it was not Buzz Aldrin or Neil Armstrong who gave it to the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. However, it was the U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands that gave him this thing.
Well, from my understanding, it went
So
from,
it was not directly from him.
Neil Armstrong is the one who said he picked it up. And it was on a visit of him.
Said it to who?
he visited the Netherlands and gave it to the prime minister.
Okay, we should find this.
He claimed he picked it up and put it in his pocket.
Let's
the point
find this.
is,
Who gave the prime minister of the Netherlands the fake moon rock? Who actually gave it to him?
This guy's really trying, isn't he? He's really, really trying.
So for 40 years, everyone thought it was a moon rock. It was billed as a moon rock, picked up off the lunar surface by Apollo 11. They did a little tour around the world afterwards. He gave moon rocks to various people. He gave one to the prime minister of the Netherlands. It was sealed. It was opened up a few years ago.
Okay,
it was
right
proven
here
to be a piece of
Bart, right here.
petrified wood.
It says prime minister. Okay, the rock was not given to the Dutch prime minister by astronauts, but was instead given to the former prime minister William Dries by the then U.S. ambassador William Middendorf in 1969 during a goodwill tour by the Apollo 11
Look where he's getting all his information from.
astronauts.
It's ridiculous.
The rock was later found.
Lenny Jones is a bit of a moron.
And actually was a piece of petrified wood.
Okay, so Neil Armstrong was there at the visit. That's when the rock was given. He claimed he picked it up. The prime minister of the Netherlands didn't pick it up. Neil Armstrong picked it up. There he is. Apollo 11 astronauts during.
How do
the
we know?
Goodwill tour.
We don't know that. Okay, it says it was during the tour. The
Okay,
Goodwill
so
tour.
either Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin
what is
claimed
your
to pick
point?
it up.
So
What
it
is
seems
your
because
it seems
you can't figure it out.
Hold on,
You
Bart,
claim the moon
you gotta
rocks
put the
for
headphones
proof.
on, or you can't just keep talking over everybody, bro. It's like it's too much.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's too much. His point is that this piece of moon rock that was given to the prime minister of the Netherlands during the Apollo 11 Goodwill
He's
tour.
trying his hardest to be partial, isn't he? It's obvious that he's not.
With Neil and Buzz was later analyzed and found to be petrified wood and not a moon rock. That's his evidence that the moon rocks aren't real.
Well, I brought back a couple 100 pounds, maybe, moon rocks. I don't remember exactly. And they're very unique. They got a radiation history that is unique.
They look anything like that?
No.
No.
They look like
black.
Look like charcoal. And,
Yeah, and I knew it. I knew it was going to say black charcoal. You're right.
they
It's
look
the
like
stuff that they
more
collect from
gray.
Antarctica. It is. Go and have a look at them that stuff they pick up there. The stuff's like, it's like jet black. Looks like coal.
What was the biggest moon rock that you
But it's kind of shiny and smooth and
brought back?
I think 25
yeah, it's
pounds.
pitted as well. I've seen it. So.
Whoa. Like roughly how big though?
I had to roll it up my leg. It was first EVA at Plum Crater. And
is that a moon rock, right? Is that a real moon rock?
We didn't collect anything like that. The one on the right.
No.
No.
What? Zoom out, Steve, and see if we can find something that Charlie would think that looks like one of the moon rocks that he grabbed. Does any of this look like one of the
moon
rocks?
These are weed balls. These are moon rocks. What they people smoke. Oh my god. Oh my lord. You could go and watch people make these moon rocks, and it's just a bunch of weed and like trichomes all stuck together. These are just literally moon rocks that you smoke in a bong. This is hilarious. It'd be funny if you said, "Yeah, that one there, that looks like a moon rock." No, you were smoking this, mate. That's what it was.
That you had?
No.
No?
That's hilarious.
What if we Googled Charlie Duke?
He's Googled moon rocks and he's literally brought up moon rocks that you smoke. Oh my lord. That's quite funny.
Well, I brought back a couple 100 pounds, maybe.
Yeah, you did bring back a couple of 100 pounds of moon rock. I bet you did. But you smoked half of it as well.
I don't remember exactly. And they're very unique.
Yes, they are.
Radiation history that is.
I don't know about the radiation.
But they look anything like that?
No.
No.
They look like look like charcoal, and they don't look like that.
Okay.
They look like more gray charcoal.
What was the biggest moon rock that you brought back?
I think 25 pounds.
Whoa. Like roughly how big though?
I had to roll it up my leg. It was first EVA at Plum Crater. And
is that a moon rock, right? Is that a real moon rock?
We didn't collect anything like that. The one on the right.
No.
No.
What? Zoom out, Steve. See if we can find something that Charlie would think that looks like one of the moon rocks that he grabbed.
The weed moon rocks, hilarious. This is Keith on the. That's like Bud. Then you put in like the golden syrup around it, and then you wrap it in Keith. This is all like the Keith stuff. This is like moon rocks. Oh my!
Does any of this look like one of the rocks that you had?
No.
No. Mm-mm. What if we Googled Charlie Duke moon rock?
Maybe Apollo 16 moon rock.
Oh, yeah, or Apollo 16 moon rock, yeah.
A Big Muley I picked up. Go left. Is that Big Muley? The one on the left.
Zoom out,
left.
Steve.
That one. The Big Muley. No, the other one. To the left.
That one?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's a real moon rock.
I picked it up. Yeah.
That was a 25-pounder?
I don't remember how. No, it didn't weigh that much. But
no.
But I don't remember. We picked a total collection for Apollo 16 was probably a couple 100 pounds.
And when you got him into the module, when you got the rocks in there, did you have them in any kind of specific bag or anything?
We had them in
a vacuum sealed bag. 200 pounds of moon rock.
vacuum.
Oh, it was
boxes.
He did actually use a vacuum sealed bag, just like you would if it was like a big 200 pounds of cannabis weed.
A lot of them,
right?
And then a lot.
This old dude's a smoker, man. He's a smoker and a joker.
We're just in I don't remember exactly. In none of them, whether we had them brought back or just didn't have room for them in these rock boxes, we call them.
Mm-hmm.
But most of them were put in rock boxes outside, and so never saw atmosphere inside.
Right. So once you took your suit off, you weren't able to interact with them at all. You couldn't touch them. You could smell them.
I don't remember doing any of that. No.
No. What about once you got back to Earth? Did you touch them at all or hold them at all when you got back to Earth?
We went into the lunar receiving lab where they were, and we were able to put on gloves or whatever it was and sterilize that thing and just look at them. But I don't remember.
I still can't
picking them up and tossing them around or anything like that.
Were there any smells that you remembered? Like usually smells are good at triggering memories. Like was there any specific smell that was strange to you about the moon when you got back in the?
Well, we were pretty stinky. I can say that.
A lot of BO.
A lot of BO.
A lot of BO, but nothing else. No other interesting smells.
No. Well, I mean, some of the food smelled. You could, smell a tuna salad or something.
What about
like
dust or something, like dust from the moon?
Like someone farted, or that must be horrible, or some smelly socks, like
on your suit or on your boots or something, anything like that. No.
I don't remember any smell from but sometimes it smelled like there was a gunpowder smell sometimes. And
what was that from?
I don't know. It's probably moon dust, but I'm not sure. But there's no organic material in it, like gunpowder.
Right.
So
okay. So this moon rock debate is difficult because we don't have any moon rocks and we haven't done any analysis on any moon
rocks. We
rocks.
picked up that one, Big Muley.
Okay. Yeah, it looks absolutely nothing like the petrified wood on the left.
No.
So it was given to this guy. So I guess the story is true. I mean, if we've corroborated it with AI and with Bart's article that gift was given, but it wasn't. It was given by the U.S. ambassador to the Prime Minister of the Netherlands.
The one on the left.
The one on the left, yeah. and it was he was told.
It doesn't look like any of the moon rocks we collected.
Right. Right.
Well, you said they were different at different landing sites earlier, that the rocks at your site in Apollo 11 were different.
Were the rocks different at different landing sites? Did they look different?
Not that I recall. Not that different. They're not that much different.
Right. Okay. Okay.
The number one proof is what we have next. And I'm answering your question about what proof there is. Now, I gave NASA the benefit.
About what specifically?
About how they didn't go to the moon. They can't leave Earth orbit. They still can't leave Earth orbit.
Are we talking about radiation belts now?
No, I'm talking about the footage of them faking being halfway to the moon.
The footage. Okay.
If you show,
I do after this. I would like to talk about the radiation belts, if that's okay.
That's next after this.
Perfect.
Right. And so, first, let's look at the slide D8. This is at the beginning of the reel. I asked NASA for every video, every film from Apollo 11, figuring if they faked it, they're more likely to have made a mistake the first time they faked it. Now, keep in mind, I went from being the biggest fan, gaga, worshiping the Apollo 11 project with pictures on my wall everywhere I went like a shrine, to having an open mind that maybe they faked it, to looking into it, being given $1 million by somebody who builds rockets for NASA to investigate it, who said they were fake, and then stumbling upon this evidence, which is what convinced me that they were fake. In fact, this footage...
This blew my mind. The first time I saw this footage, I was just like, wow.
Shown to 2 NBC news directors. They both agreed it proved that Apollo 11 never left Earth orbit, and they were threatened by the federal government not to broadcast it or to have their license pulled. So the first part you'll see in D8 is the slide that says not for public distribution.
Oh, it's not popped up.
There we go.
Okay. So that shows that this is not for public distribution. Now, the next clip is at the very...
Let's read it. It says, this film of the Apollo 11 mission was produced as a report film by the Manned Spacecraft Center and is not for general public distribution.
Yeah, I asked NASA for unedited footage, and everything I got was pre-edited with a voiceover, and it's the same footage over and over again on 10 different reels, exact same footage. Most reporters are satisfied with that. I'm investigating the possibility that they faked it, and I asked for everything, specifically unedited footage. I got this and one other reel that was unedited. Now, at the very beginning of the reel, clip 9, which you're about to play, you'll hear NASA say, the TV picture looks great. Then there is exactly 4 seconds of dead air. You'll hear a third party that's not NASA, not the astronauts, presumably the CIA. And after 4 seconds go by, they tell Neil Armstrong in a private earpiece, talk. And then he starts speaking because he's claiming that he is halfway to the moon at this point in the mission. The timestamp indicates, according to the script, that they're supposed to be halfway to the moon. In fact, they never left Earth orbit. They can't leave Earth orbit now, and there's a number of reasons for that. So,
Charlie, have you ever seen this footage before?
No, it's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, it is crazy how corrupt the federal government is.
Well,
so
I mean, you're calling me a liar. I never went to the moon.
Well, obviously. I mean, what surprise. You knew who you were going to be here. You knew who was going to be here before you got here.
12 of
you
us.
act like it's a surprise.
I
it's
am
a good acting.
surprised. I didn't realize that you thought it was all a fake.
You knew that. You reminded me of our phone conversation 20 years ago when you walked in the door that I said you quoted me word for word.
I showed you his website
that I had
before
proof
you came down
that we
here.
didn't go to the moon. You knew when he invited you. This is no surprise, and yet you're acting like you're surprised. This is why you should get the Academy Award. Now, the reason is if he's halfway to the moon, there would be an estimated 2-second radio time there. Way to the moon, he's get the Academy Award. Now, the reason is if he's
his face captured. No comment. Move on.
Halfway to the moon, there would be an estimated 2-second radio time there and 2 seconds back. So they're faking a radio delay.
Okay.
You'll hear NASA. You'll hear 4 seconds go by. You'll hear a third party that's not NASA, not the astronauts, prompt Neil Armstrong with talk. And that way they can fake the 4-second radio delay. Go ahead and play clip 9.
Oh, Apollo 11, Houston, Goldstone says that the TV looks great. Over. Oh, Apollo 11, Houston, Goldstone says that the TV looks great. Over.
You really need to show all this footage in its context, really. You need to show it all. You can't just pick parts.
Where did you get this stuff from again?
From NASA.
NASA sent you this.
Bill Casing, a
one
contract.
second. They sent it to you by mistake?
Either that or one of my sources at NASA who said the missions were fake, thinks a whistleblower sent it to me.
Okay.
And so...
Hold on, Charlie, what do you make of that?
I don't understand what he's talking about here, but the missions were not fake. They sent me to the moon.
And we understand that. You've been saying that for 56 years.
Hold on, Bart. The footage that we just watched was from Apollo 11. Could you hear it? Can you hear it in your headphones? It's Houston communicating with the astronauts on the radio, and then you hear a 4-second delay, and then you can hear the audio of someone going, talk. And then you hear Neil Armstrong responding to Houston. Let's watch it one more time. Let's show Charlie one more time.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, let's show him one more time. Just read the text.
Oh, Apollo 11, Houston, Goldstone says that the TV looks great. Over.
2, 3, 4.
You see,
does that make sense?
No. They can't leave Earth orbit today, and they can't leave Earth orbit in 1969.
He needs to show them the way they faked this. That's what he needs to show.
So the footage is footage of the moon, and you could hear Neil talking to Houston, right? In that video clip?
Yeah.
You could hear them talking. And there's a little voice that pops up after 4 seconds that says, talk to Neil. Why would there be a voice
I don't know.
telling Neil to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. He has no idea.
They on the moon, or
they're halfway, right?
They're supposed to be halfway to
so
the
this
moon.
is when they were halfway to the moon, communicating with Houston. And after Houston said something on the radio, there was 4 seconds, and then somebody on the radio saying talk to Neil, instructing Neil to respond to Houston after 4 seconds. Why do you think
100, what's that, 100?
I don't know.
30,000 miles?
In my recollection, I was in mission control for Apollo 10.
Mm-hmm.
I was Capcom. I was in mission control for Apollo 11. It's Capcom. And nothing like this ever happened in mission control.
No, there would never be anybody saying talk to anybody.
No.
It would just be as soon as you hear it, you would respond.
Generally, that was true, yeah.
Okay, what were the exceptions?
I can't think of any right now, but I mean, say again, Houston, or say you a lot of reasons that mission control had not mission control, but we had problems, scratchy communication.
So if you couldn't understand,
yeah,
okay, I see what you're saying.
Say again, whatever.
Yeah, except the quality, the EQ of the audio of talk is completely different. It's not obviously NASA who just spoke,
right?
And it's not Neil Armstrong who responded. They're faking a 4-second radio delay to pretend that they're beyond Earth orbit.
So this is him. So Bart's position is that video with the voice coming in and saying talk is them trying to fake a 4-second delay. That's part of his argument.
So what? I mean, I don't understand.
That's just one of his arguments. Is that because you hear the voice come in and say talk, the talk comes in 4 seconds after Houston finishes their statement, right? So the presumption from Bart is there's no delay, but the astronauts were instructed to wait for 4 seconds until someone else came in and said, talk. That way it would look like there was a 4-second delay, and it would look like they were already halfway to the moon.
Right, because if you play clip 11, Neil Armstrong, for the TV audience, the part that was shown to the public, says he's calling in from about 130,000 miles out.
Right.
Halfway to the moon. Go ahead and play clip 11.
Hi, Roger. Houston, Apollo 11. calling in from about 130,000 miles out.
Okay, so that's him lying. He's not 130,000 miles out. He's still in Earth orbit. That's why they faked the 4-second radio delay. Now play clip 10.
Is this the photo of them faking the window thing?
Almost, the one before.
Okay. Let's try to go through this. We have a lot to cover, and we're almost 2 hours in.
We only have one window that has a view of the Earth, and it's filled up with the TV camera.
Okay, so go back to clip 11, the 130,000 miles out. Don't play the audio, but just bring up the image, and you can hit pause so we can see the image. So according to Neil Armstrong, there's only one window that has a view of the Earth, and it's filled up with the TV camera. Because if
Make sure you're talking to the mic.
Oh, yeah. So if you were really halfway to the moon, looking back at the Earth like this appears to demonstrate, even though it's a fake shot, you would have to have the lens of the camera to the window in order to shoot the Earth far away floating in space. He says, he's lying, 130,000 miles out, and he says that the camera is completely filling up the window. That's a lie too. The camera is really at the back of the spacecraft. There's about 15 feet between the camera and the window. They've turned out all the lights, which they talk about because they thought these conversations would be edited out. And that's actually the circular window of the spacecraft, outside of which it's filled with the Earth and low Earth orbit. One cinematographer believes they took a transparency, a positive, a slide of the Earth photographed from a satellite and placed it over the window that was backlit by Earthshine. Now, if you play the final clip, the D11, play it all the way through to revealing. So play 11 one more time. There were 2 clips on 11. So this is supposed to be...
Don't fast forward, Jimon. Go back.
This is supposed to be the Earth, but that's fine. This is supposed to be the Earth floating in space. This is the outtake. That's why it says...
This guy in the video is suspicious.
There's Buzz Aldrin removing part of the effect in front of the window. That's a work light. The camera has been at the back of the spacecraft the entire time. The iris is opened, and you can see the real location and the very bright Earth out the window. They just faked being halfway to the moon. My critics agree. That is them faking being halfway to the moon. 2 NBC News directors agree. That is them faking being halfway to the moon. And they were told by the federal government if they broadcast it, they would have their license pulled. So go to Sabrel.com. All of these clips can be seen there for free. This is what convinced me. I gave NASA the benefit of the doubt for as long as possible. And when I saw this, they are faking halfway to the moon. So if you could really go to the moon, why would you be faking any of it? And if you're faking being halfway to the moon, it's because you can't go halfway to the moon. And what a surprise. 56 years later, they still cannot leave Earth orbit. Only mannequins can. And we'll go on to why next, which is the Van Allen radiation belt.
All right, hold on. Let's put a pause there. So, Charlie, on your trip on Apollo 16, did you guys ever turn around and take film or footage or any photos of the moon, or I'm sorry, of the Earth when you were about halfway?
I'm sure that we did. I don't remember specifically, but we were.
If you were to take a video or a film of the Earth on your way to the moon, how would you do it?
Well, you turn a window to the Earth, and there was I had a window right up here, which was a triangle. I had a window right over here. And in zero gravity, you had to hold the camera up to the window, towards the window, and the objects you had out there. So you could do it from any window. It depends on how you oriented the spacecraft.
So, okay, so you would be able to orient the spacecraft while you're traveling to the moon to line up a window with the Earth.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and so roughly how big is that spacecraft? How big is the interior?
Less than if I'm in my couch, I can reach out and touch in my suit, and I could reach out and touch the side of the spacecraft.
Okay.
John Young on liftoff, it was Mattingly. He was touching my shoulder, and on the other side, he was touching John's shoulder, and John was reaching out and touching the side of the spacecraft.
But the command module,
hold on, roughly,
the command module.
Yeah, the command and service module were coupled together, so there was actually more depth than that.
Okay,
No, not in the spacecraft. It wasn't. They were. The service module was hooked to the command. The command module was sat on top of the service module.
It's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant what you're saying, because they said the camera was right up against the window. This footage shows that the camera wasn't up against the window. They were turned all the lights off, and they're looking through a round window with the camera at the back of the capsule. So they're completely faking it. So what he's saying right now is completely irrelevant.
And we received a lot of stuff from the service module, but the command module was a separate entity.
And he's not really answering any questions, is he?
Connection. There were electrical connections and service connections, but there weren't any.
Just going off on tangents, this dude.
Pathway.
You couldn't go there.
You couldn't
Just
go
waffling.
there.
Got it. Okay. And so you're saying it was roughly about maybe the size, the length of this table, maybe a little bigger?
It's probably, this table probably wider than the Apollo spacecraft was.
Okay. And
But
so
depth-wise, about the table.
So when you were, let's just say hypothetically, you're on your way to the moon on Apollo 16. You look back, you want to take a shot of the Earth at halfway, right? You're halfway to the moon. How would you position the camera inside the spacecraft to shoot the Earth?
First off, you'd have to get a window looking at the Earth.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you could get the window, you face the Earth. There was a triangular window here and a window here for me.
What was the shape of the other window for you?
I think it was a sort of a triangular shape.
Triangular shape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, you could get up there with a camera and just look out. And if the spacecraft was not rotating the held position, then you could just reach out and just start taking pictures.
Yeah, but where's the position of the camera?
16
Where would you position the camera?
We didn't waste film, though.
And you would put it basically right smack dab up to the window?
No.
No?
Sometimes you would.
Okay.
Okay. Depends on...
Depends if you're not trying to fake it or not.
What you were trying to look at. If the Earth was out there...
Come on, bro. You're doing a
and
terrible
you wanted
job
to get
here.
right close so you could see the whole of the Earth, you would. You could get back and you could still see the Earth out there, but it was like you were looking through a 4 foot of air in a spacecraft, so you'd want to get up right next to it to get a good
Exactly.
vision.
Right. And how fast was the craft moving at that point? Halfway?
It varied.
This guy, this.
It
Roughly.
well, it took 72 hours to get to the moon. It's 200 and something thousand miles. So on average, it 3,000 miles an hour.
3,000 miles an hour. Okay. Okay. So this footage is, as Bart described, from Apollo 11, and they have the camera. Steve, do you have like a rendering of the spacecraft?
Yeah. Give me a second.
So we downloaded a
Steve,
3D
you're a
render
terrible video
of the
man.
interior of the spacecraft, and I want to see if it's accurate. First of all, this is it. So this was created by the Smithsonian.
Yeah, trust the Smithsonian.
It's supposed to be a perfect 3D render. Does that look right?
That's the hatch right there. Yeah, that would be the hatch.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a window, and on the right side, I had a window.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on this side, wait a minute.
I think we were in this.
I would be on the other side.
So he was on the left side.
Which Apollo mission is this rendering of?
Did they have different ones for every Apollo?
No,
Because the window's round.
They're all the same.
Right? Where
Which
is
is
the
the
This
new?
is
one
specifically
window.
Apollo 11.
This is specifically Apollo 11. Okay, so this would have
I
been
don't see
the
any
same
round
craft they were
windows.
shooting from in that video that you provided. Okay, so which window, Bart, were they filming from based on this 3D
They referred to it
render?
as the #1 window. So, and it appeared to be circular.
So
on
it's a
camera.
round window.
And like I said, another
These all
cinematographer
squares.
thinks they put a device over the window with
Okay,
a
so
photograph of the Earth. to
I don't
make
see
it-
any circle windows at all in this.
Was there a circular window in there, General?
That's kind of like a square. It's like a rounded
mostly
square.
this way. There might be a circular window in the hatch. I don't remember.
So the hatch is missing here. So maybe that's what they were filming out of, the hatch.
Well, no.
No.
Well, the hatch would be open, and
miles out, the Earth floating in space, but it's not the Earth floating in space. It's the window being made to look like the Earth floating in space. So they're faking being halfway to the moon. So why would they fake being halfway to the moon if they really went halfway to the moon?
Well, you don't even have to go that far. Okay. Let's say why are they shooting it from so far back? Why wouldn't they put the camera up to the window?
Because it shows they're in low Earth orbit. Can't you work this out, dude? Oh, this guy, man.
We did at times, but sometimes you just want to look at the inside and what the guy's doing.
But right,
so
but if you go back,
the other side of the spacecraft.
Understood. But if you go back, they're showing it with the entire interior blacked out. If you rewind it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so that he can get exposure of the
well, if you got the outside, if you got
and what's this like? If they're in space, if this is in space, this so-called Earth, what's this up here floating around?
The windows are not open, but
no, this is inside of the capsule. This is a light they left on. Should have been turned off.
You're going to get light reflected from the Earth and light from the sun into the spacecraft.
This guy, man.
So go to the beginning. Go forward a little bit more so it just shows you. So see, they're filming
completely delusional.
They claimed that was the Earth.
He literally believes his own light.
It looks like they're trying. Do you understand why Bart thinks they're trying to pull some sort of camera trick? They're trying to. It looks like right now, if you paused it right here and you showed that to me or any other dum-dum like me, you would think that the black is just space, right? And that's just the Earth floating in space. That's what it looks like to me.
So hit play.
Now, and he's saying while they're filming it that they're 130,000 miles out.
Which is not true. So there's the Earth. Allegedly.
So it's like, wow, look how small the Earth is, way floating away in outer space. And it's pretty incredible. And then this is the same, you know.
I mean, the first thing you just go, what's this light up here?
Not cut. This is same.
I mean, you can clearly see it.
Same footage, and the camera's sort of wobbling. There's something weird in the top left corner, maybe a light.
Yes, on the inside.
It's a work light that they diffused, so it wouldn't throw light on the spacecraft walls.
Now it's like there's something moving in between the camera lens and the window.
Yeah.
So it's not space, it's just the interior of the spacecraft.
That's right.
It's the window of the spacecraft being made to look like the Earth floating in space.
Right. So if they are trying to pull a camera trick here, Bart, now look, you see the window's totally blown out.
That's what it would look like.
Right.
Okay.
They had the iris closed during the other one.
The hatch, that's the hatch window.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's
there's
not the sun, though, is it? It's the glare from the Earth, actually.
And there was one on my side. There was another. I forgot exactly what the space was, but there was windows right here, and I could look out that window.
Mm-hmm.
And there was on the other side, there was a docking window. You looked out when you had to dock, and it was I forgot exactly the shape.
Nonsense.
Maybe an oblong rectangle or something like that.
See the blue coming through.
Hatch window. And then there was a window on the left. I could look out I was on the right side, and I could look out a window. It was right there. And John Young had a window on the other side. And there was a hatch window above us, and there was two windows up in beyond the. I
don't think he's getting it.
So Steve, go back to where it's exposed for the interior. So right there, that's the hatch window.
Yeah, the round one.
Is that how bright? Okay, move the hand. Okay, is that would it be that bright?
Yeah,
130,000 miles away. If that window was facing the Earth at 130,000 miles out, is that how bright it would be?
It's facing more to the sun than the Earth.
Well, the video's claiming.
He's saying yes, but what was the image before then? Of the tiny Earth? I mean, what is going on?
In the video, Neil is saying that that's the Earth.
that wouldn't be the Earth. Wouldn't
That would not be the
that
Earth.
picture's not the Earth.
No.
Well, it is the Earth. That's the reflection off of the Earth.
That's
Earth shine.
Well, this is kind of incredible because he's saying it's not the Earth.
Well, it is.
And clearly
they just faked being halfway to the moon.
Well, the video is
because
saying,
they're in Earth orbit. That's the Earth out the window. It's filling the entire window.
Right, but listen, Charlie just said at 130,000 miles out, that is not what it would look like. Okay, this video clearly is Neil Armstrong saying they're 130,000 miles out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. It's a fake shot.
So that's why Bart believes that there's something weird going on. So if they were in Earth orbit, wouldn't you see the Earth moving by super fast, like clouds moving by? You would see land moving. They would be flying. If you look at footage
that's why David Percy, a cinematographer, award-winning BBC cinematographer, said they took a photograph from an unmanned satellite, and they had like a positive, or kind of like an X-ray, but a color print that was translucent, and they put it over the window. That's what they were removing when you see the yellow circle around the window. They're removing the photograph.
So it's a photograph
that's being backlit by Earth shine.
Of the Earth with a Terminator line. They're shoving it in the window.
They put a little crescent piece of material into the window.
I see what you're
to
saying.
fake the Terminator line, dividing night and day.
So I don't understand the purpose of this conversation.
So this video that we're watching right now, that you just watched,
it's called Alzheimer's.
This is a video of Apollo 11, and Neil says in the beginning
Still
of the
doesn't
video
get it.
that they are 130.
Even this dude's beginning to get it.
Are 130,000 miles away from the moon.
Yeah.
So he just said they're halfway.
Yeah.
And you just said there's no way they're halfway.
I didn't say that.
Judging by looking at how bright that window is, you said if that's the Earth, it wouldn't be that bright.
I didn't say that. I said that could be the sun shining then.
No, but I'm saying if that window was facing the Earth at 130,000
It's looking bad for this guy. It's looking.
You said it wouldn't be that
looking
bright
good.
if that was facing the Earth.
You would see the Earth. You wouldn't see this is the sun shining in.
No, it's not. It's blue.
Okay, but
You clearly see the blue.
hypothetically, if that window was facing
Clearly
the
see there's a blue frequency. The one on the left, but the sun might be over to the one on the left, but the one on the right, you see the blue haze coming through.
Earth at 130,000 miles, you said it wouldn't be
Take
that
a look
bright
at it
a minute
again.
ago, right?
They show it again.
The Earth was never that bright.
Okay.
Okay, you look out the window.
Unless you're in low Earth orbit, bro.
You'd look out the window and you'd
bounce on his shoulder, and he's got lines bounce on this elbow. It's likely hitting some part inside of the spacecraft and bouncing back, and it's filling in his face over there. It's lightly kissing the shoulders here, but you can always tell sunlight because you can just look for the brightest thing, and that would be that ray shooting through. So it's probably just veiling the glass, and the glass is...
See the blue. Look at the blue. Look at the difference.
There's color right there.
Yeah.
And you can see there's a similar color right here. So this one's getting
kind
the
of a
brunt
blue
of it.
color too.
It is a blue. I think it's a tint. And what you're seeing there is even when you back up over here, this is just a bokeh ball. A bokeh ball showing whatever the lens is seeing. And this texture is probably the cabling that you see later on. Or it could just be like imperfections in the glass. But that
looks like the Earth to me.
That looks like the
It
Earth
does,
to me too.
but it's out of focus.
Obviously,
and
it's not. It's
it's
the window.
not.
And it's got a perfect Terminator line too.
Go to the part where they're fiddling with it in front of the window. Go back another 15 seconds and hit play.
It's misformed because it's.
Hit play.
So, Steve, you don't think they're trying to film the Earth here?
I don't think so.
Well,
I
hit
mean,
play.
they're looking at the window.
They're definitely trying to film
That's
the Earth.
where they claim it's 130,000 miles out. It's a duplicate of this. This is later on in the tape.
It's very confusing. It's very confusing.
It's not confusing.
Halfway to the moon.
How is it confusing?
And now you see them breaking down
You clearly see what they're trying to do here.
transparency of the photograph of the
There's
Earth.
there's
in front of
zero
the window.
confusion.
The camera was never up against the glass. It was at the back of the spacecraft.
Yes.
They closed the iris down so that the walls became black. And here they are removing part of the effect in front of the window.
All right.
This is what convinced me and to NBC news director and an award-winning cinematographer and my critics agree it is Apollo 11 faking being halfway to the moon.
Okay.
So why would they fake being halfway to the moon if they really went to the moon? And if they're faking being halfway, It's because they cannot go halfway.
Right, understood.
They cannot leave Earth orbit and will go into Y, which is the radiation belt that surrounds the
Which
Earth.
we're going to do. We're 2 hours in. We have an hour left, but coffee is here, and I need to go to the bathroom. So we're going to take a quick break, coffee break, bathroom break. We'll come back, talk about the radiation belts. Be right back. Okay, now we're back. We're going to talk about the radiation belts, the Van Allen belts. What is your position on the Van Allen radiation belts?
Well, my position is what von Braun's original findings were, which is that it's 250 times a lethal dose. We have a quote from him. And
the Van Allen radiation belt is just code for the dome or whatever it is holding in everything, right? That's all it is.
print that he says that if you do the math. And if you first show slide D12.
Okay, before you get to D12, for people that don't know, that are listening to
this is
Bart
an
for the
image
first time.
of the belt.
So yeah, the Van Allen radiation belts are basically large toroidal donut-shaped pockets of radiation that exist about, 1,000 miles out from the Earth?
And extend about 30,000 miles.
Extend about 30,000 miles. And every single space shuttle launch, basically every astronaut and every space shuttle launch, every moonwalk that's ever, or I'm sorry, not moonwalk, spacewalk that's ever been done has been done below that in low Earth orbit. The only astronauts, the only manned mission that has ever been outside of the Van Allen radiation belts is the Apollo missions. Is that
gone
correct?
through them.
Yeah.
If
That's
you
correct.
look at D12, you can show the audience what they look like and how every manned space mission, Mercury, Gemini, Skylab, the space shuttle, is well below it. And this field of radiation starts at 1,000 miles and extends about 30,000 miles. If you go to D13, this is a press release from the Apollo mission that was given to the press. They launch from Florida to be near the equator, and they go right out through the middle. You see that right at the equator. They go through the Van Allen radiation belt. Now, if the spacecraft, like General said, is going 3,000 miles an hour and they're 30,000 miles thick, that would be 10 hours in the radiation to the moon and 10 hours back. I believe maybe the spacecraft was going a little bit faster, but in any case, it was at least 2 hours in the radiation to the moon, up to 10 hours, and another 2 to 10 hours back. Now, the Orion mission sent up Geiger counters into the radiation belts in 2014, unmanned, and they registered the radiation. I called NASA. I said, I'm a journalist. This is a non-military, taxpayer-funded scientific mission. Can I please have the Geiger counter readings? They told me that was classified. They weren't able to tell me. Now, when NASA sent probes to the sun to find out the temperature of the sun, the temperature wasn't classified. And when they sent probes to Jupiter to measure the amount of helium in Jupiter's atmosphere, the amount wasn't classified. So why would the amount of radiation inside the radiation belts and a spacecraft intending to one day send people to the moon, why would that radiation measurement be a classified secret?
Charlie, do you know why that would be classified?
I didn't realize it was.
So I would imagine that if it was classified, we would classify it because we wouldn't want the Soviets or the Chinese to know the actual level of radiation. Like, if you guys want to figure it out, spend your own.
What is the point of this discussion?
The point that we're discussing now is Bart's position that the Van Allen radiation belts,
This old astronaut can't even keep up with the conversation.
too dangerous for human beings to pass through and survive. And he's building his case to why that is right now.
Well, you have to accelerate 25,000 miles an hour to get out of Earth orbit.
Okay.
I thought you said it was
Hold on,
3,000 miles an hour.
let him talk. He said he was at 3,000 when they were halfway. Sorry, continue.
Earth's slowing you down. Okay, so the total distance of the moon is about 3,000 miles an hour. 7 times 70, that's 210,000 miles. Okay.
Okay. So
when you go through the Van Allen belts, you're going so fast, it's just you're through.
How fast were you traveling?
You just go through. It's just one of those things, you know.
Escape velocity is about.
And no protection, no lead, and that. You just go straight through. It's just like going through a microwave for a couple of hours. That's all.
Let's see, I don't remember exactly, 36,000 feet per second or something like that.
NASA told
You just
me
go
it was
through. It's just
17,000
you know.
miles an hour.
No,
So
that's
if they're-
Earth orbit.
That's Earth orbit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have to escape Earth orbit.
Not looking good for this
I don't
dude,
remember
man.
exactly what it was, but it was over 20,000 miles an hour to get out of Earth orbit. And so the S4B, the third stage.
How do you go from 20,000 miles an hour, and you're taking that force into space? How does it slow down then to 3,000 miles an hour? You just keep on going the same.
Saturn rocket you stayed attached to, and that engine lit and pushed you out of Earth orbit on a trajectory to the moon through the Van Allen belts. Then that after that all was done. You separated, you turned around and retrieved the lunar module from the third stage. It was riding underneath the command module and service module. So you separated and you turned around and you came back in and you docked. And then when you got all the electrical connections made, you flipped a switch and it released all the bolts, and then you could back it out from the third stage of the Saturn rocket.
Okay. When you guys were traveling through the Van Allen belts, were you guys paying close attention to like where in the Van Allen belts you were? And also before you like when you were preparing, you guys did an unbelievable amount of prep and training for this, right? What were for the whole mission, right? What were the conversations like during training with anybody, including Von Braun, about astronaut safety when it comes to radiation and the Van Allen belts? What were those conversations like?
There wasn't very much conversation about it. It wasn't any danger.
I just don't mention it. Don't mention it to the astronauts about the lethal radiation out there surrounding us. I mean, yeah, just go through.
You're going through so fast, you're exposed to so much radiation. But
3,000 miles an hour from 17,000 miles an hour. I mean, I think they've got brakes on the rocket. Right, right, guys, that's gonna have to be it. We'll watch the rest of that on Saturday. Where are we? Way past. Where is it?
The greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being.
The only one today. I've got a lot of stuff on this afternoon. Family stuff and that.
Being in a prison cell and you can see the.
Unfortunately, I can't stick around.
Sitting in a prison cell, but you can't see the bar. You think you're free.
What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers.
We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us fight to be slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, and wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. But then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government releasing poison in the air. That's the reason I collect so many guns in my lab. I ain't never caught slipping, never underprepared. Yeah, they shade sign on me, they just spray it proudly. George Bush, the grandson of Alistair Crowley. They want you to believe a lot of the enemy Saudi. The enemy ain't Saudi, the enemy around me. It's fluoride in the water, but nobody know that. It's also a prominent ingredient in Prozac. For real? How could any government bestow that upon people who believe in political throwback? That's not all that I'm here to present you. I know about the Black Pope and Solomon's Temple. Yeah. About the Vatican assassins and how they will get you. And how they clone Barack Hussein Obama in a test tube.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us fight and be slaves. And everybody's just walking around, out in the clouds, and wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end.
Whoever built the pyramids had knowledge of electrical power. And you know that that's the information that they suppress and devour. Who you think the motherfuckers that crashed in the tower? Who you think that made it turn into ash in an hour? The same ones that invaded your own. The ones that never told you about the skeletons on the moon. Yeah, the ones that poison all the food you consume. The ones that never told you about the Mount Vesuvius tombs. Right. The bird flu is a lie. The swan flu is a lie. Why would that even come as a surprise? Yeah, the beast has war, you wolf made you die. It caused cancer and it cost a lot of people their lives. Do y'all know about Bohemian Grove? How the world leaders sacrificing children in robes? Lucifer is God in the public school system. I suggest you open up your ears and you listen.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us fight and be slaves. And everybody's just walking around, out in the clouds, and wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
The greatest hypnotist on planet Earth is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
If you can persuade them that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see, you got them. Because they'll laugh in the face of an explanation that portrays the bigger picture of what's happening. And they have.
25 years I've been on the force. I've seen every kind of sick, depraved act known to humanity, and still, when I see a black man walk by who has more money than me, I want to vomit my gizzards right into the gutter. But why? Maybe there is no reason. Maybe there's just a big blue ball out there that's mostly covered with water and we're just going along for the ride.
DJ Ill Will.
Oh, this is Bo jiggling balls in your mouth all day, every day. Hey, you tuned in to Fuck What You Heard Radio, where you can stick a dick in your ear and shut the fuck up, bitch. But anyway, we got your new K-Dot record. I know you in traffic. Where you at, baby?
Down Rosecrans, 87 Regal, sipping on a gold can, gun tucked like the fetal position. Top dog coalition, coexisting with the coldest whoever quoted from California district. Been a Kona like David Banner, I'm the owner of the marijuana aroma. You smelling, hit a donut, yelling it's me, bitches. Who did it? I did it. Take them where they can't go. Like Planet Venus, leaning like a mad scientist. Laboratory bottles of empty Heineken, telling stories about the ones that came before me. Chinamen squinting this eye because I'm blooded. My shine is bigger than the striker lighting, and they like it him because I like to win, never lose. Put me on a pedestal, bet I pedal victories until I pedal off my shoes. Welcome to the Lions Room, challenge anybody who wanna try they luck, they get fucked up and all you heard was ooh. Say hello to the little big homie, and your reality ain't realer than this, homie.
Okay. All right, big shout out to everyone that come in today. I do appreciate you guys. I will see you Saturday morning, same time, and we'll finish off that video. Look at some other stuff as well. Window lickers everywhere, Dory. yes, they're everywhere. All right, guys, have a great day. I will see you Saturday morning, same time. Till then, take care.